Well, hello everybody. Welcome to the show today. Of course, this is July the 4th. So happy Independence Day for those of you in America. For the rest of you, celebrate along because your countries are probably democratic and you owe that to us. Anyway, it's a day of barbecue and parades and fireworks and cakes and all kind of fun happiness. It's one of those holidays that's just fun. I get it's uniquely American, but it's good though. I enjoyed it when I was a kid growing up. Now I've been outside the states for decades, therefore I haven't had any kind of proper Fourth of July in quite a while. Living over there in Hawaii, which is supposedly supposed to be part of America, Grimlock. Technically it was our 50th state.
Yep.
But it's like the most un-American feeling place you've ever been. And
Hmm.
I don't recall in the year, because I lived there many years, I don't recall anything on the 4th of July happening or being done. Because, there people kind of complain about the wokeness of California. They've never been to Hawaii. Yeah. So I personally haven't had to have experience in a while, but I did love it growing up, dude. And I'm going to ask you the same thing as we start off here today. But when I was a kid, I did move around a bit because of my dad's work and stuff. But most of my memories do come from a singular place, though. And although there are some interesting ones from others, but I remember we'd go down to this park, nice park. It's not little, it's not big, but it was a nice park. And we go down there and we barbecue, and the park was full of people, and you run around talking to your friends because you all go to school same area, right? Having hot dogs and hamburgers. Some people's fathers were better, not mine. Not much of a barbecue, be fair, unfortunately. But my friend Tony, his dad was the chief of the Narragansett Indians. That dude could freaking barbecue, man. So I'd hang out with Tony a lot, right? But nevertheless, and then at nighttime we would have fireworks. Simple, right? Happy,
Oh yeah.
fun. What did you do today? And give us a childhood memory, dude.
Well, back in Brooklyn, this was we were basically smack in the middle of I guess you could say parade season and block party season. So you would have starting in June, you'd have things like the Puerto Rican Day Parade, then the Colombian Day Parade,
Mm,
Fourth of July festivities, block
yeah.
parties. Just that's a good time of year.
Well, it
So
is. Yeah,
th-
New York's fun. Because I spent a good
th-
7, almost 8 years of my life in New York City. So,
this should be the time of year, where you know you're checking out the block party, seeing what's going on, grabbing a plate from one block party, maybe skipping over to another,
yep.
going into maybe go to another neighborhood, see what's going on there, see if you can grab a plate there. So
Am I allowed to
um,
say that the Queens had better food than Brooklyn? Am I allowed?
that's a matter of personal taste and who you're talking about making the food.
I'm talking about block parties and stuff like that. I thought the Queens was. I thought Queens was just better. It's weird.
I'm,
Brooklyn is known for food. Let's be fair. For
I'm not. I,
restaurants and stuff, Brooklyn's got some good restaurants, right?
I'm not gonna hate that because Queens does have some good food. Some of the best chicken I ever had was from.
Oh yeah, no, there's some good food in Queens, yeah. And there's stuff on the island too that's not bad, dude.
Oh yeah,
I've had some good stuff on the island too. I remember down on 48th, is it?
yeah.
49th? What's the one just below the park? That's 49th, isn't it?
What, Central Park?
Yeah,
You're
yeah,
talking
yeah, yeah.
about?
Central Park, yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's 49th. 49th or 48th. On that, you have like Bloomberg's over here, and then if you go all the way down before you get to the water, there's a deli over there. One of those Jewish delicatessens, right? Dude, they
Yeah.
had the best frickin' Reuben sandwiches you ever had in your life, dude. Oh my
Yeah.
God. Mm,
And also, since it is a tradition, being in Brooklyn, you maybe go to Coney Island,
Yeah,
check
yeah,
out Nathan's.
sure. All those are,
You know,
they're good old hot
maybe
dogs.
stay for maybe stay for the contest if you're into that kind of thing. Always like going to the arcade. Back then when arcades was still a thing.
That's true. They did change. I've been to Coney Island several times, but I honestly I haven't been there as much as others maybe. But
It's changed a lot. Um, the biggest thing is because I don't know when's the last time you've been in New York, but
oh wow,
the
yeah.
biggest thing is the Mets minor league team. They built a stadium right there by Coney Island. So
Oh really? Oh wow.
yeah,
Okay.
uh, yeah. I forgot what they're calling the park now because I think at one time it was MCU Park. I don't know if it's still that. Um, it is a nice place. It is one of the it is one of the nicest parks. It You've had a lot of people in Major League Baseball say it's nicer than some Major League stadiums to be as small as it is.
Right.
Um,
Well, that is quite different though.
oh yeah,
Let's see. I think when I was last in New York, Koch maybe.
oof, that's a long.
Yeah, the early '90s. I think there was
It was
another guy. I think
it
there
was a
was another guy. I remember
Dinkins after
Koch.
it was Dinkins after Koch.
Okay, there you go. Well, I don't even remember that name. So, but I was
He
in.
wasn't good.
Yeah, well, I left in early '95. This is the last time I was in New York. So.
Oh, you left at the beginning of a rat bastards term.
Well, that's kind of synonymous with New York. I don't know what you're talking about, but talking about food though, Fourth of July, New Yorkers can, there's good and bad points. Of course, you can make about anybody, but New Yorkers do know how to have a good time though. When you're having like Christmas in New York is awesome. It is the best Christmas, right?
Yeah,
Holidays in New York are pretty good, to be honest with you. I think the best Fourth of July celebration I ever saw was down in I want to say Mobile, Alabama,
yeah.
and they had opened up some new canal waterway system they had built. This big giant thing to up, make more money by moving ships around better, I guess. But I was pretty young, but I remember that they had like parades and all kind of stuff during the day. It was fun, but the fireworks celebration at night, I've never seen anything like it. It was an hour and a half fireworks celebration, both on the ground and in the air. It was freaking amazing, dude. Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah, I can't remember what it was called. It was like the Tennessee Big B. I don't know. It was some waterway thing. I remember, but that's probably the best one I've seen as far as just the whole day. But New York does do parties pretty well. I think I prefer Christmas and Halloween above anything, though.
Yeah.
And New York is nice in that regard. We got Roger. We got a flying saucer over here. And they're both saying happy fourth, I guess. But
Yep.
yeah, definitely go out and share it out. I just did that myself, and we'll see. I have a feeling we won't get so many people today. I mean, it is Fourth of July, right?
No.
But I did keep it kind of shorter today too. But before we get into that, we'll leave a little bit of time because I know that Thundero might show up eventually. I'm sure he's doing something with the family. Did you do anything specific today?
No. Appreciated having a day off work.
Oh, fair.
It's kind of hot out.
Yeah.
Walked around a little bit. Did a little shopping. Get some stuff for the house.
Oh, that's
Just
cool. Yeah.
just taking it in.
Yeah, no, I don't really that day off thing. It happens once a week. Uh, and during the year, the Japanese aren't. If the our put there's things here that should be repaired. To be fair, but
Yeah.
in all honesty, the biggest complaint I would have about the Japanese is they're boring. They're just boring humans, dude. They don't know how to have a good time. I mean, they can sit down and be happy. They're happy, so that's cool. They'll sit and
Yeah.
chat with each other, and they'll be happy doing that, having some drinks and laughing, and so that's fine. Good enough, right? Good enough. but they
Yeah.
don't know how to let their hair down, dude. They just don't. They only celebrate two holidays here a year, just two, really. And New Year's is quite beautiful celebration actually, but it is literally quiet and reserved because that's what it should be. So there is
Mm.
no fun to be had at New Year's, right? It's not the point. It's quite the opposite. It's reflective. It's almost like the true
Yeah.
meaning of Thanksgiving, you know? So they only have one holiday where they actually do something, and that's Obon, which is basically what our Halloween used to be long ago.
Yeah.
And they'll go out and do a little dancing, and they'll have a little bit of fun on that. And that is 3 days. So I guess 3 days a year the Japanese actually will do something.
Mm.
Wow. Wow. How about America? When I was in, of course, it's been decades, but we used to kind of just look for an opportunity to have a party, any excuse.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Any reason. Somebody getting pregnant. Somebody getting out of jail.
Hmm, hmm.
Somebody graduating.
Yeah. Actually, I remember a
Somebody
really good.
getting a new job.
Hmm. Now I remember a really good party. A guy getting out of jail once. No, it was a good party, dude. But a lot of people got tickets and stuff because we were on a private road, and everyone was, just a lot of people, underage people, drinking and just just the typical,
Yeah.
80s party. But the cops were set up at the end of the road trying to catch
Oh, they were
anyone
just
coming out.
waiting.
Yeah, bastards.
I hate that shit. I see that so much. They know there's a party,
Yep.
and they'll just be at the end of the block, just waiting.
Right.
You dirty rotten
Yeah,
motherfuckers.
they do it all the time, dude. Yeah, bastards. Because especially in Rhode Island, there's a lot of private roads.
Yeah.
Other places I've lived in the world, someone's property is private, but the roads, you don't see private roads much. But Rhode
Yeah.
Island's full of private roads, right? And the cops can't enter it, right? Unless they're literally called to a house by a resident,
Mm.
specifically for that resident. A lot of times we ended up partying on people who just had big plots of land, and the cops can't come in. They know we're partying, right? But
Mm.
I remember one party. I had at my this was on holiday related, of course. But what were we partying for? I have no clue.
Mm.
But
that's that's usually a good party too when you can't remember what the fuck you was partying for.
oh, dude, that was a really good one. We had this like a duplex, and the
Mm.
guys upstairs and us downstairs. We would often throw parties, just within the whole house, right? Because they took a house and they cut it in half, and they rented the upstairs and they rented the downstairs, right? And we would have parties all the time over there. But I remember I had a very simple rule because I was the only one that had any responsibility at all. I was that guy. But I was like, all right, you come to the party. The rule is you got to bring a drink though and put it on the table.
Oh yeah,
That was the rule,
and come,
right?
and come empty-handed.
Don't come empty-handed. So I had a big table full of alcohol anybody could touch. We'd always get like a keg or two. Of course, drugs were at that time were plentiful, mainly weed and LSD or shrooms. Shrooms are quite popular. But I remember that this one party I'm thinking of though. I made the immortal drinking mistake.
Uh oh. Which
Yeah.
one? Which one? Which one was this?
Well,
Which rule did you break?
I was trying to get with this girl. It's always about a girl.
Yeah.
And I was trying to get with this girl. Oh, she was a hot little thing, dude. And I was trying to get with her, and I was chatting her up, and I was like, "Hey, I need to go to the store and pick up alcohol," which is, you know, clearly bullshit. But she bought it and took a walk with me. And on the walk, we drank. It wasn't a fifth. It was one of those mini bottles of tequila. It's like
Mm-hmm.
half a fifth. You know what I
Yeah.
mean. Just walking down the convenience store and walking back, right? We drank that whole thing, which I wasn't expecting, but she was a drinker, so I
Oh
got to
yeah.
keep up with the girl, right? Anyway, get back, and I know I'm messing around with her, and someone handed me a gallon jug full of beer from the keg. Now,
Oof.
later they told me that it was to put on the table so people could pour out drinks, but fuck it, I just started drinking it myself. Yeah. Yeah,
And
you
that's
don't
where you
mix your
fucked up.
alcohol, folks. Oh yeah, that's where I fucked up. You don't mix your drinks. You drink what you're drinking and you stick with it. Don't you mix it because that's gonna get you. The
Oh,
next morning I woke up, right? No, this is serious. This is such a crazy party. I woke up the next morning. The first thing I did when I woke up was I puked on the floor. Didn't even bother to get out of bed. Just leaned over and puked. I realized because I had a nice waterbed, right? I realized I
yeah.
had not one but two girls in the bed. Whose names I did not know, and not the girl I was trying to chat up, by the way, right? So I don't know what happened with that, but two girls I have no clue who the hell they were. I get up and just start stretching myself around the house because I got to go to work, of course, right?
Yeah.
So I get up and I'm checking around the house before I jump in the shower. And just went to work and I had to come back and I didn't even clean up the puke. I did it later, right? But I was surveying it. And this place looks fucked up, right? So I was like, all right, I got jump in the shower, and the only thing I really noticed before I left the house that the bathroom door was missing and the shower door was also missing. I remember that. But I went to work, worked all day, come back. People were still passed out in my house because the cops doing their stupid thing at the end of the road. They just crashed. And I come into the house and I start cleaning up. We had like an NES, I guess,
Yeah.
and the cassettes were all over the place. Everything was turned upside down. There was beer all over the floor, alcohol everywhere. The kitchen was an absolute disaster. I never found the bathroom door or the shower door. I don't know where they went. I do not know. I had some bonsai trees back in the day. I thought it was
Yeah.
cool. They were all uprooted and around the room. The fishing tank, which I had some really cool, well, not a fishing tank, but a fish tank. I had some pretty cool stuff in the aquarium. All the fish were dead because people decided to put coins in there, which isn't good for fish, by the way.
Yeah.
So I came back. I'm trying to clean things up, clean the puke. The girls are gone, so good, I guess. But that was such an absolute destructive party, dude. Everything was in disarray. And the funny thing is I'm going through because I'm the dude who cleans up, right? You get who I am. I don't have to explain it,
Yeah.
but I'm that dude. But the thing is, eventually I did kind of because upstairs downstairs they were separate apartments, but we didn't live that way. So I went upstairs. It was worse. It was worse, and everyone is still passed out. This is like coming on 6 at night, right? People are still passed out. The dudes who rented the place were just passed out in one place or another, nowhere near their bedrooms. It was just the biggest disaster party I've ever seen in my life, dude. Everything, I don't know how, but everything was broken or dislodged or thrown or upside down. Nothing was unturned. You know what I mean? And oh my God, that party, dude, because we had probably 250 people maybe up in that place where you know what I mean, the
Yeah.
kind of typical New England two-story ranch house, wherever they call those, right? Oh my God, dude. Sounds like a fun night to me, dude. It was rapid. It was great fun. I what I remembered because the last thing I really remember before I woke up and puked on the floor, was sitting on the couch, and I was had a death grip on that gallon jug of beer, and it was nearly empty. So I don't even know how much beer I drank that night, dude. And I was laying down on the couch. People were, and I was laughing about something, but I guess I was moving, nervous ticking and moving my knee up and down, up and down, up and down, up and down, and it was really bugging this chick. And she came over and she sat on me and she said, "You got to stop it. You're freaking me out, man." So she sat on my legs to stop me from moving them. And of course, all I remember is grabbing her down and just, kind of smooching on her, right? And she was happy to comply. But that's the last thing I remember. And the thing is, the two chicks that are in the bed, she wasn't one of them either. I have no fucking idea what happened that night because I don't lose my memory usually. I don't have those, lost time or forgetting from drinking. It was just that night. And why? Because I drank probably, I know I shared the half a fifth of tequila. I know I was drinking vodka. I know someone had given me some tea, and it was probably shroom tea. And I don't even know how much beer I was drinking or whatever. I don't remember, dude. I mean, that doesn't happen to me, but it happened that night. And my God, what a fuck, oh my God.
Yeah, about to say it happened that night.
It happened that night, dude. And we've had a lot of parties, but I was always really strict about not mixing my alcohol. Dude, don't do it. Don't do it.
No, that's trouble every time. Every
Hmm.
time. I, very few times I've really been down bad, and mixing them half the time has been that problem.
Yeah. Yeah. No, that's the problem because I've only been down, like you said, a few times, and it was because I did something stupid, like that. And or I don't know what alcohol has the weirdest effect on you though, because for me it's black Bacardi. I do not touch that stuff. I don't know what it is about it. It affects me differently than anything else. I don't know, but black Bacardi turns me into an absolute frat boy, and it's not good. It's not good.
Mm.
How about you? Do you have what alcohol seems to hit you the weirdest?
I'm pretty sure you've heard this one before, but that devilish man known as Jose Cuervo,
Yeah, I know. I like me
that
some tequila though.
that, that man causes some problems.
Yeah, he does.
He's fun to hang out with. It's just he never leaves you where he finds you.
No, he doesn't. What was real popular when I was a kid too was Crown Royal.
Oh yeah,
That was
that is
popular.
still a thing. Crown Royal is still a really popular drink.
Well, it's affordable for the average blue collar, right? And
The
it's not bad.
last, the last, believe it or not, the last time I had Crown Royal was 3 years ago. There's this outdoor park and about an hour away from where I live, but they have a lot of rock concerts there and they serve alcohol. And like some just told me, I ain't had Crown Royal in a long, long time. Let me have
Right.
some Crown. It just didn't feel the same. It's like maybe it's the heat, maybe it's just because I haven't drank it in a long time, but this just doesn't feel the same.
Well, it is cheaper, affordable stuff for young folks, really. I mean,
Yeah,
I don't drink hard very much. It's rare right now, and I certainly don't do any drugs or anything in decades.
yeah.
But if I have a shot of whiskey now, I'm going to have Glenfiddich or something, right? I mean,
Ah,
I do it so rarely, spend some money on it, right? But
yeah.
Dave says I think I'm allergic to alcohol. Well, my wife is too. But it works out for us because I'm not. I know I just told this crazy drinking story, and I got many of them actually. But I'm not actually much of a drinker. I don't care about alcohol. It was just when I was a kid and when I was a
Yeah.
musician, we just party our asses off. I mean, but I'm not a drinker actually. But
It was a phase.
yeah, yeah, I think drinking and drugs are for kids, man. I know that sounds weird, but it's true. It is. I remember another party, and same place, man. We had a house on the beach. I'm on a cliff overlooking the ocean. It was freaking awesome party house, dude. But this night was different. It was a much smaller group. There was only about 20, 30 people. And But someone had found you remember you're not as old as I am, but do you remember yellow dots?
Yellow dots.
Yeah. They were real popular back in the 80s. It's LSD, acid, right? But It was because people would have different pieces of different little art or something on the paper they would sell the little tabs, right?
Yeah.
But there were yellow dot was a very common one. You'd still see Woodstocks and there was different kind of standard images you would see on when you buy a tab. But yellow dots were quite popular when I was a kid, and someone had come in with a sheet
Oh boy.
of yellow dots. Now, just so for you guys don't understand this, the scene of the '80s. 'Cause I have no idea what kids do today, but we had a sheet is a gross, so it's 144 tabs of acid. Okay, that's a lot. That is a lot. But he just came in with a sheet, and I don't even know how much that must have costed. It must have been expensive. I don't know what happened, but this dude, and I don't even, I remember he was a wrestler in high school. I remember that. But he was pretty chill dude. But he came in, he just started handing them out. He wasn't selling anything. He was just giving them out, right? So everyone's multi-tabbing on Yellow Dot, and some, and acid is one of the things that's interesting about acid for me. It is, it's not something you want to mess around with. You don't do too much. You don't, because you'll hurt yourself. Don't you'll affect your body. But it is something you could do a few times, right?
Yep.
But the one thing I like about acid is it's as if your eyes and your consciousness has this like dirty tape over it. And when you do acid, it's like pulling that off, and all of a sudden you can see the world as it is for the first time. It's pretty spectacular effect. But I remember it was a full moon, and near the house we were on, we had like these old abbey ruins, this old like church or mission or something like that. And we were hanging out over there, and I remember during the night because everyone's tripping their balls, right? And
Yeah.
when I was a kid, of course I did. Being an American, I did all kind of sports. And my dad, right? So I played baseball and soccer and football, and we do volleyball and badminton. All how it is, right? And I was middling at best at anything. I wasn't a great athlete. I was, somewhere in the middle or less than. Football, if you had me on if it was like a running play or something, because I played linebacker, I was
Yeah.
fairly good at that, but that's about
Yeah.
it, right? So I wasn't much of an athlete. It wasn't my, I like sports, but I wasn't particularly good at it. But I was good at one sport. I was really, really good at it for some reason, and that was fencing, right? And I know only in New England. Yeah, I know. But the thing is, I was really good at it. It's weird, and I suggest to the kids in my school these days. I always say, "Hey, go try all kinds of sports because you never know which one you're actually good at."
Oh yeah.
You know,
Shit,
uh,
I
but
wish we had sumo in Western schools. I would have loved that.
yeah. So I remember having judo in PE, and that was fun. But once again, I'm just not a great athletic person. I'm just kind of normal, right? But something about fencing, I was just really good at it. And of course, everybody knew that I was a good fencer. So, and I had a bunch of swords on the wall and stuff, just decorations because it was part of my life at that time.
Yeah.
But somehow, I don't know how, but I found myself on the beach, and I remember how we would come through the trails and we passed by the Abbey and we're on the beach down there. And we're everybody is trying to sword fight me. Just me versus everybody, right? And I remember just, arrow flinting it and laughing and joking. Everybody's laughing. The next morning, however, the next day, because we didn't pass out or nothing, it's acid. But the next day, when everyone started coming down, and because I once again had to go to work, and I was high during that. I come back, and during that sword fight, I had cut my knuckle. Someone had cut my knuckle clean through, dude, in the
Oh,
vertical, not the horizontal, right? So I had to tape that up. I remember, but there were so many sword related. These are dull blades; they're not real swords. But there were so many sword related injuries. There was literally a broken wrist and a broken forearm, and they were mad at me because I brutalized them.
oh,
And I was like, "That's what you get.
yeah. Your fault.
It's your fault." But I don't know who had the genius idea to sword fight on the beach while tripping balls. I
Well,
don't know whose genius idea that was.
there's tripping balls. That explains it right there.
Yep.
It sounded like a good idea at the time.
It did. Yeah, shrooms. Yeah, have you ever tried shrooms?
No.
No. Yeah,
Can't say.
They're kind of better than acid because it's very similar effect. It's not as strong, I guess, but they're shorter. It's much shorter. Because one of the real things with acid though is, I mean, you can be gone 36 hours, dude. 40 hours. The length of time is a bit ridiculous. With shrooms, it's a few hours, 5 hours, 6 hours, maybe. So it's much more controllable, you know.
Yeah.
But anyway, 4th of July party stories. Why don't you tell a good story?
I don't have any as far as Fourth of July.
Not
I
the 4th
usually
of July, just any party story. Like I told, those weren't party stories. No 4th of July stories.
um I could tell you the last time I got really drunk,
Okay.
and it wasn't New York. I'd been away from New York for a while, and this was my first time being back in like some years. And I came back to New York. I took a train, so I was on the train for about 8 hours. I'd worked the night before, got on the train, came straight into New York, and before I even could like even settle in, I got a bunch of text messages, mostly from one of my old friends. Is like, are you coming out? You're gonna meet us at the bar. You're coming out. You're coming out. You're coming out. So I told my brother, I said, let's just go to the bar before I have to kill John. And I had already fucked up because one of the first things I did when I got in is of course, I ate and I got some Chinese food.
Yeah, yeah.
And as my drunk sensei says, you should not have greasy food before you drink.
Hmm.
And I had pepper steak from a
Ooh.
Chinese restaurant. So, that's a bit on the greasy side.
Yeah, bread would have been better.
Well, I wasn't, well, for one, I didn't think about drinking when I first got there, but somebody kept telling, getting me to go to the bar. So I go to the bar. It's my birthday. Somebody tells the bartender it's my birthday. So I'm
Hmm.
fucking. The worst thing that can happen is they gave a drunk free alcohol.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh. Yeah.
So I'm sitting there. I'm drinking. I forgot what I think I had started the night with like Hennessy and Heineken, something like that. I think that's what I started the night with. I don't remember the last call for alcohol. I remember leaving. It was like 4 in the morning, and I'm staggering up the street. My friend, he's fucked up. His mom had to help him. Somehow we came up with the brilliant idea to go to McDonald's.
Oh yeah. That's good.
Went, but again, went and got McNuggets. Not a good idea. Puked them up.
Sure. Yeah.
And where it starts to get interesting is because, like I said, I'm pretty good and fucked up. So I'm in my old neighborhood, and I gotta go back across town towards the upper part of Flatbush, towards Ocean Avenue.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah.
The train station is down the block. Chester, I did not go down the block.
No.
I went 15 blocks in the other direction to the train station I used to go to when I was in high school because that's where my drunk ass brain told me to go.
Jesus, where did you end up?
Well, I ended up at the train station. It took me a while because like I said, I was fucked up. And what makes it so bad is this is like 5 in the morning. I got almost $1,000 of cash in my pocket,
Oof.
and it's the weekend. So, on the weekends, especially in the early parts of the morning, you only get like one train, one bus every 15 minutes. So if you miss that first one, you're gonna be waiting a while. So, when I finally make it to the train station. I'm hugging the railing to the stairs when I got down to the bottom of the stairs. It's about 5 in the morning, but of course there's a Puerto Rican couple arguing in the subway.
Hmm.
and all I hear is, "Oh, I can't stand you. I fucking want to hit you right now. I should fucking hit you." And here she comes. Then fucking do it then. Fucking do
Right,
it.
right, right,
Fucking.
right, right.
I'm just drunk. I'm like, oh god, it's too early in the morning. It's too early in
Latinos.
the morning for this shit. Then I was supposed to make a transfer so I can head back towards Ocean. Didn't do that, Chester,
Oh God.
because old Grimlock fell asleep on the train.
Wait, did you
Grimlock
end up
wakes
in
up.
Jersey? Did you end up in
Well,
Jersey? That's all I
okay,
want to know.
so Grimlock wakes up and go, "Hey, this looks like the Manhattan Bridge." Shit, this is the Manhattan Bridge. God damn it! So so now I gotta wait till I get off this fucking bridge into the fucking Canal Street stop.
Oh wow, dude.
Stagger to the other side of the train station so I can go back across the fucking bridge. Um, so I get to the other side, get back on the train, finally make it to the to back to where I was supposed to go. I didn't get home till almost 8 in the morning.
Oh wow, dude.
So
Jesus Christ.
the sun is up, and on top of that, my phone's been dead half the night.
Oh,
So
okay.
people have been calling me worried sick about me.
Of course. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah.
But I'm fucked up.
Well, you do realize you made the two immortal mistakes of New York,
Oh yeah,
right?
I was well for one. I ate greasy food and I mixed booze, so I
Yes.
really was fucking up
Well,
that night.
you fell asleep on the subway as well,
Yeah,
which you never do.
that too.
And you
Yeah,
carried
oh dude,
actual money in your pocket. Come on now.
oh yeah, with the amount of cash that I had on hand, staggering around that like those neighborhoods, and like my old neighborhood is not the most dangerous of neighborhoods, but it's not some place you would, I'd recommend doing that kind of shit. So I managed to do all of that. I get back to my to the place I'm staying. I go, oh look, Spider Man's on, and fell asleep.
Uh, as you do.
So I wake so I wake up. It's like I think 1:30 in the afternoon or something like that. I'm not hungover, believe it or not. So I finally plug up my phone and charge it. You have 35 missed calls.
Oh wow. Goodness.
Like,
Yeah.
dude, we thought you fucking died. We've been trying to call you all night. I'm like, yeah, fucking phone died.
Actually,
Like,
I
what
love.
happened to? Like, what happened to you? Like, I'll tell you later.
Jeez, dude. Actually, I'd love to hear some of the stories from the guys in chat as well. I mean, you guys have links. Come on in. Tell us this party stories. Fourth of July, man. It's a good time to tell party stories. Uh,
Rabbit's like, this is a typical night out for me.
right,
For me,
right.
this was too.
Well, we musicians kind of have a different perspective.
Yeah.
It's just different. Hey Thunder. But yeah, no, that's not too extreme. And Alan, I get the joke, but in reality, in New York, unless you're a yuppie walking around the streets late at night, it's really not that bad. I mean, if you're
No,
a local,
it's
yeah, it's not that bad.
it's really not because, like I said, it was 5 in the morning, and I think I was the only person out there until I got to the subway, and
Sure.
even then, it was like pretty sparse, like as far as people being out there. Because
Yeah, you can dodge junkies pretty easy too. So,
well, that and you still have clubs. Well,
oh yeah, 4 o'clock, right?
they'll have clubs that are open to the fucking afternoon. Like my best friend, I remember one day he called me. It was like 2 in the afternoon on a Sunday, and I thought he just got up. He just left the fucking club. He's like,
Yeah, yeah,
yeah,
no,
he's like, I'm
that
walking
can
home
happen too.
now. I'm like,
Yeah.
so yeah,
Well, I definitely had some good party experiences in New York, but honestly, most of those were very different though. The ones I had when I was younger were probably more fun because they were with with your community, right? In New
yeah,
York, because when I was a kid, I was a kid. I wasn't partying at all, right? But
yeah,
as an adult living there, I was a musician. I was a session musician. So I would just go, all the partying I did was just going out to the parties that were going on, right?
yeah.
And it's musician parties. And like I said, I really gravitated more toward the hard rock or heavy metal parties because that's what I liked, right? Even though I was a
Mhm.
jazz fusion musician, I know it's weird, but I mean, but that's a completely different experience though, because you're dealing with with people who have money. One, because when we were kids, we didn't get no goddamn money, right? We'd pool our money
Yo.
together just to get a keg, right? But these people have money, which and you know, there's always a few celebrities at the party. Most of them are just middling musicians like myself, right? They were just working people. But there's always be a one or two or five people who had a name or were building a name. It's very different experience though. That kind of party to just kind of going out with your buddies. I
Yeah.
don't know that one's better than the other. It's just different, you know. And but I have to say some of those rocker guys are a bit too try hard though, to be fair. It's almost as if they have an image to uphold and they're desperately trying to uphold it. It's a little
Yeah.
inorganic, you know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
Oh,
I
yeah.
could see that.
Yeah. Although the Black Crows, any stories you've ever heard about them, they are true. Those guys are
Mm.
absolute they don't have livers anymore. They've been replaced with cybernetic livers if they're alive. Um, Holy shit. Now, one thing I can say about those guys is I didn't see much drugs going on with the Black Crows, but I've never seen anyone drink like that. And I've been to some crazy ass parties, right? And I've met some crazy people, but those Black Crow boys, and I don't even know all their names. It's not that I'm friends with them, but I sort of many parties, right? I've never seen anyone drink like that. I mean, literally drinking whiskey bottles like it was an iced tea from the convenience store, dude. Insane, insane.
I learned very quickly. I couldn't hang with Southern people,
Yeah,
especially
no.
white women. I can't
I
drink with them.
yeah, I'd never seen anyone drink like that in my life, dude. But fair enough, because they were functioning just fine. But I couldn't possibly drink like that. But I did see things. One of the people who I really liked hanging around with, I've mentioned this before, was actually Blackie Lawless. I don't know. Most people probably don't know who he is. He's the lead guy of a band called Wasp. But that guy, whereas I said a lot of the rockers are kind of inorganic and I mean they're try hard drinkers and partiers, right? No,
Yeah.
he's just one. That's what he is, right? But
Yep.
he's fun. He's one of the nicest people you ever meet. I know his image is different, but he's just fun. He likes partying, he likes laughing and talking with people. He's just a fun dude, you know. And it's
Cool.
unfortunate because during that time I know Alice was around a lot over there. I know he's not from New York, but he was in New York quite a bit at that time for some reason, because I know he was because people were talking about it. And he and Blackie were actually pretty good friends back then, I guess. But I never had an opportunity to meet or party with Alice Cooper. Man, that would have been so cool, right? But unfortunately not. But that was kind of a neat thing though, because you would see a celebrity here or there, right?
Yeah.
And it was kind of cool. Rabbit said, "Don't know. Started clubbing at 14. Yeah, it was probably more like 16 for me, 17, a little bit older because I was tall and I had a beard and all that kind of stuff, so I could go dancing. I did love dancing when I was younger though. I did love it. I don't know that I was good at it, but I loved it. Yeah, did you enjoy the
No.
dancing when you were younger?
Who, me? No.
Yeah, yeah, I loved it.
I was never big into that.
I don't know. It's just fun. It's unadulterated, I guess, in a way. You're just up having a good time dancing, enjoying yourself. Nothing. It doesn't mean anything. But I used to love dancing, and I didn't get laughed off the floor, so I guess I was, you know, hideable. But unfortunately, a lot of times, especially from that age on, when I started, I was either trying to make money as a musician, or I was bouncing to make sure I had money in my pocket, right? And
Yeah.
so I didn't get to, I spent a lot of time just kind of standing, watching other people have a good time, to be honest with you. And I don't know what's going on with Thundero because he's muted and something's going on with it. I don't know. We're
I
we're
believe he I believe you're just letting us ramble on.
Well, we're
No,
just talking about
my
drinking and party stories.
my beautiful wife is in here and she's watching something, and I just don't want you guys to overhear to have it
Oh,
come through the
I
mic.
see.
So
Oh,
Alan says, I met Alice once, told me his real name was Susan. Thanks, Alan. I don't know. Maybe some of you guys are younger than me, but back in those days, man, I would have loved to have met Alice Cooper, right? Because a lot of the people I met, some of them went on to become kind of famous, but they weren't really
yep.
famous at the time, right? Because like I said, we'd have parties and there'd be 100, 100, 200 people at some of these big parties, especially up on the northeast side of the park. That those you have a lot of those are rich people anyway, but how you have up there, you have those buildings that have like those big long balconies that overlook the park, right?
Oh yeah.
And those things are perfect party houses, right? Or party spaces, right? And we used to have a lot of parties up in there. But like I said, mostly you just got local musicians or people up and coming, trying to make it in the business. But occasionally you would get like a celebrity would show up here or there, and that was kind of cool. But mostly it was just people who hadn't made it yet, you know. So I love the guys from Extreme. And I guess did they make it? Would you consider them to have made it?
They did have a couple of hits, so
Yeah, I love Nuno, man. He was such a cool guy. But it was just it's very. But what I'm trying to express is, yeah, it was cool. We got to meet a couple of celebrities and had some cool parties, but it was very different vibe, dude. It was very different vibe.
yeah.
I almost want to say that going out with your friends who are all, you're all bums and dead drunk, I mean, dead broke, and you're just scraping money together to have a party and hope some girls will show up. I mean, it's just more fun, I think. So, anyway, Dave said, I saw Alison Blackie in Germany at the Magic Circle Music Festival, headlined by Manowar. Oh, dude, don't play with me, Dave.
Nice.
Stop it, Dave. He's picking on me. He knows. He knows where my heart is. But no, Alice is cool as shit, dude. And I haven't seen Blackie since the what early '90s. But
Yeah.
it's not like he's a friend of mine or anything. I just saw him at a bunch of parties, and he's the coolest dude ever, dude. He's just really cool because he loves partying. He's such a down to earth fella. If you ever seen him on stage, you would like that guy must be dangerous and wild. Nah, he's really chill, man. He's pretty cool. But that it's neat though. And then again, some of the other things, parties I go to because we just musicians just hey, there's a party, let's go. It doesn't matter what kind of music you play. Some of the other ones, like I had played with, but I also partied with the guys from. There was a
Mm.
lot of people there, but they were the big dogs walking around. I forgot his name again, dude. Great freaking hip hop pop band from the early '80s. I mentioned it before, and you remember the name. OE, those guys.
Morris Day in the Time.
Yeah, thank you. Why do I always forget that? The time. But those guys were at that party, and they were the only ones that had any kind of name to them. But that's a whole nother experience. Partying with, not all, but it's basically a black people party in
Yeah.
general. That's another very different experience as well. But Thunder, you've been very quiet, but you must now tell a drunk party story, sir. It's your
would
turn.
love to. Well, I don't have any for myself because I'm not a degenerate like you two.
Yeah, well, I
But
was. I was a degenerate when I was younger.
I
Yeah, oh
do
my God, dude. Yeah.
I do have one for my buddy. So my other buddy got married, and we were at the wedding reception and everything, and my one friend decided he was going to drink an entire large bottle of Crown Royal
Oof.
all by himself.
Oof.
Ooh.
So he got very drunk. So I had to
Mm.
drive him home. And on the way home, some people, when they get drunk, they get loud, or they get real quiet, or they get real sad or aggressive. Well, apparently he gets homosexual because he started rubbing my thigh
Oh God.
in a very uncomfortable way. I'm like, whoa, you need to calm down.
What are you
So I
doing?
eventually got him home. I come to find out about an hour later that one of the other girls that was at the party or at the reception somehow made it to his house and
Uh-huh.
was having a shower with him.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
I don't know. I don't know what happens in drunk people's minds,
yeah.
but I don't want to know either. It sounds like I said the other day, I just don't understand the appeal of getting so drunk that you're sick from it. Like what is the how is that appealing to anybody?
Well, I've only done that 5 times in my life, Thundero. Only 5.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Only
And
five.
was it fun ever?
No, no, it
Ever
sucks.
once?
It sucks. It
Exactly.
sucks. It sucks. Just it really don't mix your alcohol. We already talked about that. That's the if you don't do that, you're fine. I have plenty of sloppy sex party stories if you'd like.
Thank
Mm.
you.
No, thank you. Okay, fine. Goodness gracious, but yeah, no, it was different. The '80s was, it's cliche, is what it was. It's cliche, and it was really what people say it was. It was. I think the '70s was way too hyper. It's because it was really the Coke decade. Because when I was a kid, you'd see Coke or bass mainly around. People preferred to smoke it really than snort it. But mainly it was weed and occasionally shrooms or acid. That was and alcohol. That was really what the '80s was all about. The '80s was just laid back. Everyone was having fun. There was no inhibitions. It was just cliche as hell. But we had fun. And I don't know if it was a good thing in the end. It probably wasn't. I mean, honestly. But I don't know. It was a good time, man. It was a good time. And I don't recall many people dying from various drug related things either. Unlike today. My God, dude. How did we go from sitting around passing a pipe, having smoking some weed to freaking crystal methylene and heroin? What the
Uh,
hell?
Government regulations and people always looking for a cheaper alternative.
Yeah, but that's extreme shit, dude. I would have when I was young, I would have never touched it. I would have never gone anywhere near it, dude. No way.
Yeah.
No way. And of course, after my time when I, started becoming, I was really trying to become a professional musician. I was trying hard. It never came to fruition, and then I got married and I changed my life. But during that period, I wasn't partying at all. And of course, when I got married, I wasn't partying either. So I completely missed the whole ecstasy thing. That was after.
Oh, that's
Yeah,
yeah. You definitely.
yeah. I don't really even know what it feels like. Have you ever taken ecstasy?
No, sir.
No.
Um, no, I'm a very boring degenerate. I tried a couple of things and I said, you know what, I can stick with it.
Yeah, no, it seems like most people are. I think it might just
The
be an age thing. That's why I mentioned the '80s being cliche, because I mean
the howl
we partied our ass off, dude.
the howl is telling us that he apparently got so drunk at a Fourth of July party that he threw up all over his friend's
Hmm,
car.
hmm, hmm.
Called 911 because he might have had alcohol poisoning.
Nice.
Paramedics got there, and my buddy told him it was just an excuse for me to see to see hot firemen.
Oh, oh, Jesus Christ.
Oh
Uh,
yeah,
yeah, hot fireman. I've had to when I was later and I was a property manager and stuff like that. I had to interact with the firemen quite a bit. And normally you don't really meet firemen in the day-to-day life unless you're in that life, I guess. But dude, they tend to be pretty freaking huge.
yeah.
I mean, big ass
You have to be
humans,
in
dude.
shape.
And well, yeah, I'm sure. I'm not just talking about being in shape. I mean, just tall. I've stood in elevators with a fireman coming to do something in a building I have to deal with, right? And I'm
Yeah.
not short, dude. I'm a tall dude, and I'm just dwarfed by these freaking firemen, man. I don't know. Guess that's where all the tall
So
dudes
no,
go.
yeah, as they should. If you're in a burning building, you want to be saved by a vanilla midget.
No, no, you don't. No, it's true. I was surprised how big firemen tend to be. But Elrod says, Chester, you need to do heroin. Do you call yourself
Hmm.
a real jazz man? Dude, I ain't touching that shit. Yeah, I just don't understand how we've gotten here. There's always been, true degenerates that are, over there, the heroin junkies, right? But
Yeah.
it seems to be epidemic level in some of the American cities, and it's just weird. It's heroin and meth. It's like, what the hell, dude? That's like the most extreme edge of it. I mean, the only thing worse than that would be like PCP, right? And that you're
Yeah.
just a madman if you put that in your body. I don't know what you're thinking, but it's so extreme. And what are the younger folks? Because you party when you're young, right? What are the young people doing? Is weed a thing at all anymore?
Oh yeah,
It is. So
it is.
is that so? With the main group, is it weed and alcohol still, or is heroin a kind of a normal thing?
It's the mixing shit.
Mixing. What do you mean?
Well, it's they can't just do weed. They got to do weed and coke, or they got to
Why
do pills and alcohol. It's
pills?
uh,
God, that's so 70s, man.
and fentanyl and all of that
What
crazy
is
shit.
fentanyl, dude? I don't even know.
Some synthetic shit that'll get you killed.
Yeah, see, I don't understand how it's going that extreme. I mean,
Yeah.
yeah, no, Elrod's saying the same thing you said. It said heroin and meth have become cheaper and easier to make. That's not good, dude. That stuff's really dangerous. But anyway,
Yeah.
that's a good talk, dude. We had a chat about Fourth of July and partying in general.
Yes.
I don't miss it though. The memories are neat, to keep. But it was tiring, exhausting. Always trying to
Yeah.
keep up, like every damn Friday and Saturday you're out partying, right? It's a bit much. But then again, back in those days when I actually would have to date, oh wow, that's tiring too. Get married, find a good woman. It's better.
Roger's over there singing Nine Inch Nails lyrics.
Is goodness gracious. Anyway, so we've talked about our Fourth of July, Sundara. What did you do today?
Oh, went over to the wife's, uh, the mother-in-law's house,
Uh-huh.
had some food, hung out. Nothing too impressive.
Yeah, well, I mean, still, it was probably fun though, because you're not. I mean, you're a married dude now. It's not like when you're younger, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, you know what I did have yesterday? Even though today's the 4th of July, my wife sees it as a date rather than a country specific thing. So yesterday she decided to give me a 4th of July surprise. And she had bought some pretty good quality Kansas City cut ribs. I didn't ask how much they were because I'm sure they weren't cheap. But she got like 4 racks of them, right? So we cooked up 2 yesterday, and oh, that was nice, dude. You ever had Kansas City cut?
I don't think so.
Yeah, I recommend them. They're pretty thick cut, so you get good bites of meat out of it. They are shorter, but I think it's a good cut. I like the Kansas City cut best, I think. But I cooked them up and barbecued them up just right. It was nice, dude. So I actually did barbecue yesterday.
Nice.
Alan says PCP, gas station sushi. Dude,
Mm.
d- dude, don't even Google PCP. That stuff is insane. That drug, dude. It makes you think you're a superhero, and for a while you are, and it gets you dead, and it gets people around you dead, right? I remember this dude was on PCP. I don't even know where he got it from, but he was on it, and he was just tearing shit up. He was just a wild man, just out of his freaking mind. And the cops shot him because they had no choice, really. They had no choice. It wasn't any kind of they didn't. It's not their fault. But they had to shoot him like 7 times to get him on the ground, dude. Do you guys even
Yeah,
know
I
what
watched
P?
the video. I watched
Yeah,
a video a long time ago of a guy high as shit off a PCP, and they were shooting with everything, every gun they had,
yeah.
and he wouldn't go down. It was
No,
it was insane.
It is, dude. PCP is scary shit. Stay away from it. I don't even know if it's around. Maybe it's not around anymore. But back in the 80s, it was a thing, and you would see these horror stories come out. Yeah. But anyway,
Yeah, it's not as common as it used to be. Uh, I don't know why, to be honest. I'm not, it's not my scene, but no, now it's really just heroin and opioids that are the big problem.
yeah, no, it's unfortunate, dude. It's just gone a little bit to, well, not a little bit. It's gone way extreme. That shit is. Don't play with that. Because the thing with weed is, like I said, drugs are for kids anyway. But with weed, however, you can enjoy it and have some fun. It's no one's going to die. You're not going to get in any car accidents. As a matter of fact, you might get pulled over because you're driving 2 miles an hour. But but it's also a very handy thing because you if you just stop doing it, or you're done because it doesn't have any actual physical addiction to it, right? Where alcohol does, cigarettes do, most drugs do, but weed doesn't. It was just safe, I think. That's why everybody was into it. But I've heard in America there's a lot of places where weed is just basically legal now.
Yeah,
How about in New York? I wouldn't imagine that's true there.
I think they've decriminalized certain amounts of possession, but for the most part, I don't think it's. I don't know if it's totally legal there yet.
Huh. Yeah, no, because, Giuliani would not be happy. But anyway, let's
Yeah,
talk a little bit about comic books today, shall we? But I did want to talk about
yeah.
just partying and the 4th of July stuff. So let's go ahead and jump over to it. But yeah, good times, man. Not the drunk ones, though. That's not good times. Alrighty. So today, because it's 4th of July, I thought it would be fun. Instead of doing like a straight up spotlight, I thought it'd be fun to take a look at flag themed superheroes. What do you guys think? Let's take a look here. American flag themed and patriotic heroes. Now, from Topical Comics, of course, you have Miss Liberty. Now, I do believe she was like a golden age, I think, and that they just went into open license, and Top Couch started using it. I'm pretty sure. Do any of you, either one of you guys, know Miss Liberty?
I've heard of her, but I've never read any of her books.
It's not so interesting to be honest with you. But the Fighting Yank. Now this is something you'll see with Atlas City, was it? And of course, this is a Alex Ross cover here, or at least piece of a cover. But I think it came out of it. Was it Atlas or what do they call those? It's kind of an homage to the classic superhero, and they have the Samaritan, which is basically Superman, and it's Atlas, isn't it? Isn't it called Atlas? Atlas City, or something like that. Um, uh,
Yeah.
but but he's from that, I remember. Uncle Sam, there's been many incarnations in that. I think he's still around. You have American Flag, but the John Watkins one. The Statesman, which is another Top Cow. This is a City of Heroes, though, online game, which is awesome. Which is awesome. I don't know what Sergeant States is. It doesn't look good either, so we'll just go right past it. The Liberator, a Nedor character now in public domain. So it's one of the old Golden Age stuff. Liberty Bell, that's another one. That's from Charlton Comics. No one talks about Charlton Comics much these days, but that was an important comic book company back in the day, dude. No, am I alone?
No,
Oh, you guys are here. Okay.
unfortunately, they have been lost to time. Um, I guess with DC owning them, most people just don't know that history and maybe sadly not interested in learning.
Yeah, no, a lot of those things have been buried anyway. Fair enough. Don't know this. Spirity 76. Okay, it's ABC Comics from way back. Ruben Flag, Major Victory. Now, come on now. Come on. This is a DC Comics character, Major Victory. Look at him, all statuesque. Miss America. Another character named Miss America. There are a couple of them, aren't there? American Eagle, but this isn't the cool one. This isn't the cool one. What are you doing, Nador? The cool one is from Marvel, and it's awesome because it's a Native American in a red, white, and blue flag uniform. hmm Which makes a lot of sense. I'm sure there's a lot of Indians that would happily wrap themselves in the American flag. Lots. No? Okay, you guys aren't into it. All right, fine. Jack
I
Black.
can't say not native.
Well, I just was trying to make a joke. Captain USA, Justice, of course. Yeah, there's another Image comic character. The American Crusader, public domain character, Golden Age. Let's see here. Captain Capitalism. What's that all about? Skyman, DC character. Miss Victory. Ooh, Miss Victory. Now that's a costume. I promote that. What do you think about that one, Thundero? Is that acceptable costume? Is that could she possibly even walk in that? No? Okay. All right. These guys
It's
aren't
very
in.
accessible.
There,
Yeah,
it finally opened for me. Yes, she can walk in that. Walk right wherever she wants to.
I guess so. That looks rather dangerous, though. These are more ABC stuff. U.S. Angel, First American, the Yank, of course. Another version of it, or the doublets. I can't remember what they call them. Super Patriot. Yeah. That's a bloody comic, by the way. America Mando. Never heard of it. DC character though. Huh. Oh, Captain America. He's a little bit flag themed. He is.
Yeah, yeah.
Um,
He's probably I would say, yes, definitely America, the American superhero, the most American.
yes, he is. U.S. agent, of course, John Walker. And I don't know. They didn't his representation in the Falcon and the Winter Soldier. It wasn't anywhere near the worst part of that, though.
No, they actually turned that around. That was actually pretty good.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, it was just everything else about the show that was terrible.
Right. But I remember there was a while where all we were getting was him in the comics. I remember. Um, Fighting American, of course, Yankee Girl. Oh, hello, Yankee Girl. God, Patriot. General Glory. Just in general glory. That's nice. Yeah, Doodle. Okay, I thought that was the name. Miss America. There's been many of those too. Captain America 2099. I don't even remember them making that. Major America, an imitation, a bad guy, I guess. Stargirl. Now, I haven't seen it because it's not for me, and that's fine. But I heard that the CW Stargirl show wasn't actually that bad. Either one of you guys watch it?
No, I heard it's pretty
No,
good too.
but
Some of it.
yeah,
It's got
I
Will Hale in it, and I really like him. I think it's pretty good actually.
I heard it was pretty good.
Yeah,
It's not really something I'd watch, but maybe I should just for shits and giggles, because it sounds like it's just kind of straightforward Stargirl, which
yeah.
which is fun, you know. But maybe I should check that out. But because a lot of those CW stuff, it's not for us. Let's be fair. It's for young girls and stuff, and that's fine. But most of it just doesn't look good at all, dude. But anyway, Miss Liberty. I remember this costume. I don't know where I've seen it. I think it's one of the Golden Age ones, but I do remember this character somewhere. Captain Battle, the badge, Commander, Super Soldier. Oh my goodness, Superman and Captain America together. That's not fair. What are you doing? That this is the best one. We need to dig this character up. Captain Confederacy.
Oh,
We
jeez.
need it. We
No,
need it. Proud.
no.
He's a proud Appalachian, Ben.
It sure he is.
Yeah.
Listen, I know all I know is that the Confederate flag, the stars, and well, what people say is the Confederate flag. It's actually the battle
It's the
flag
battle
of
flag.
Virginia.
Yeah, yeah.
Uh, is a much cooler looking flag than the American flag. I'm just saying it.
It is a cool flag.
Aesthetically,
Didn't
it's
Robert E.
cool.
Lee? That was Robert E. Lee's battle flag, and he specifically said he did not want that used.
Correct.
Okay, all right. Just so we're all on the same page.
Yeah, but
All right,
it doesn't mean it's not cool, though, Ben. It is cool. It is a cool flag. I mean, come on.
all right.
General Lee is cool for a reason.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes. The Dukes of Hazzard is immortal, and it shall never go away. Take that. Captain Adventure. No. No. You look like the Spectrum. Star Spangled Kid. Yeah. U.S. Jones. Goodness gracious. Dude, there's so many. Super
Jones.
American. V-Man. No,
I'm
stop it.
sorry, but U.S. Jones is the most. It's just terrible. That's a terrible name.
Well, the thing is about the name Jones, you can put anything in front of it and it works. It's one of those names that anything
I'm
in front of
saying
Jones works.
there's nothing at all interesting about calling something Jones.
Well, no, I'm just saying the name itself. Take let's try. Each of us try. Grimlock, take any adjective you'd like and put it in front of Jones. Go ahead.
Like
Grimlock.
special delivery Jones.
Especially just it's awesome already. Thundero.
Cocksucker Jones. I don't know. That's the first thing that came to my head.
You're not involved in the contest at all. Ben.
Let's see. Awesome Jones.
Awesome Jones. Alcibiades Jones. How about that one? How about Jupiter Jones? Oh,
Fine.
God.
Just
Write
for
that
you,
down.
Chester. Just for you, Cornelius Jones.
See? No, Jones is one of those names. You could put anything in front of it and it's cool. I don't know why. It just is.
I think it's because of like Davy Jones, right? Like it was embedded in sort of the cultural zeitgeist because of
Maybe.
ancient like pirate lore and stuff.
Sure. But I also think it just has something to do with the sound of the name Jones. It
Sure,
just,
it's simplistic and easily rolls off the tongue and stuff like that,
Yeah.
right? So
yeah, it works, dude. But there's been a lot of great Jones names. Flag. Oh, God, that boring. American Dream. It's not my dream. All American, of course. Holy Ann Ember. Stop it. Marvel. Captain Terror. Oh, that's a good name. Super Patriot, Captain America X, Fred Davis. Liberty. Liberty Girl. Aw. Miss Fantastic. I don't know why is no number 9. Alrighty then. Liberty Girl. Aw. American Sun Armor. I guess Iron Man. Lancelot Strong. No, it's not a good name. Defender. Of course, Defender is an old character. Major Battle. Smasher. Angel Murphy. Let me see if Minuteman. I remember that one. Anything interesting here? Amaridroid. Oh God.
Ameridroid.
Ameridroid. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yankee Doodle Jones. See? Yankee Doodle Jones and Dandy. Oh yeah. I'm all about it.
Oh God.
It's a Chester dynamic character. Yeah, it is.
I bet it is. Yeah.
Yeah.
He's walking around a little boy named Dandy. Yeah. I bet it is.
Come, Dandy. We shall play the flute and drum for them, and they shall be overjoyed.
Chester, now you've been named Chester your whole life, yes?
Yes.
You're telling me you've never heard the term Chester the Molester?
Of course I have.
That's, I mean,
mainly when I was in elementary school.
Do I got to keep drawing lines here, or are you with me on what I'm saying?
Yeah. But that's okay. That's why you should just call me Cornelius. It's much better.
You should go by that name. That's a much better name.
You think?
Yeah.
Adrian is trying out my little theory. Fighting Jones, Shooting Jones, Marvelous Jones, Jerkwad Jones, and Chester Jones. That's the best one, Adrian. That's the best one. There's so many. You guys seen how many? That Iron Patriot was actually pretty cool. Man of War. Oh, you remember that one? General Glory, Maiden. I don't know. Image. What are you doing? Yankee Poodle.
Yankee Poodle.
Yeah, DC Comics, dude. Hank Haywood. Get him, Hank. Let's see. American Eagle, who's an actual anthropomorphic eagle. That's nice. Patriete. All right. Patrieta. No, Patriete.
Comic makers, you can use other color palettes. Holy cow.
Yeah, I know, dude. I know. But red, white, and blue, man. Red, white, and blue. And let's see. Well, they got a second page. Damn. All right. We got Constitution. Citizen Steel. That's kind of cool, actually. That's kind of cool. Citizen Steel. I'll take that. No?
Oh, I wasn't unmuted. That doesn't suck. I like
Yeah,
Constitution as a name, but it sounds more like a villain name to
it
me.
does, unfortunately. Don't give any water to Ben, Thundera. What are you doing? Uh, let's see, Agent Liberty, and that's it. A torch of liberty. A touch of liberty would have been
Little
funnier.
touch of liberty, little
Yeah, a
touch,
little
little
touch,
tapping.
just a touch, just a little bit. Dark Horse, but wow, dude, because when I look at these lists, I don't look at them beforehand. There are a lot of flag themed characters, man. Lots, dude.
I'd say probably, besides obviously Captain America, the coolest one is Iron Patriot. I think
Iron Patriot was good. Yeah, that was a good one.
that's a good. For one, it's a cool name, and it's a cool character design too. I really like that.
It is, and it's not just America. This, of course, Fourth of July. I chose this, but the Canadians have their own flag theme thing. I've seen French ones and British ones. I've even seen German ones, which is weird because they don't like that kind of stuff. There's Japanese one. Sunfire is really cool. Talk about an underutilized character. Sunfire is cool, dude, and they've
Yeah,
not used
Sunfire
him
is
enough.
cool. He's
Yeah.
been largely forgotten, which is a shame.
Yeah, no, it's unfortunate. I thought he never got used enough. Great art design. I like the costume. What do you think, Ben? Who's your favorite flag themed character?
Um, flag themed character. Um, I don't know. They don't have American Chavez on here. I like her
That
character a
is
lot.
weird. Why wouldn't they have her on here? That's a good point, dude.
I mean,
Especially the old American Chavez. She was cool. The new one's dumb. But the old American Chavez was pretty cool.
new one's like okay, but like she still fits this mold, right?
Yes,
Especially
no.
for the name
She
convention.
should
So
be on here. You're right.
yeah,
I wonder why they missed that one. That's a pretty major one to miss, actually.
yeah.
Especially since she was just in the Doctor Strange movie.
Yeah, she was a MacGuffin in that movie, dude.
Well, yeah, she
But
was there.
she was.
That's my only point was she was
But
there.
they're not doing fun things with her right now. It's really unfortunate. She used to be a really cool character. But yeah, you're right, Ben. But anyway, moving on. I just thought it would be fun to look at. I didn't know there were this many, dude. It's ridiculous. Although the statesman, I'm just giving extra love for that because
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
well,
I gotta. Can I change my answer to Statesman?
yes, you should. You should, sir.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Statesman's pretty fucking pro,
He
right?
is. He
So
is awesome. Yes. City Heroes, by the way. Yeah. Play it. What are you doing?
I didn't see the first part of this list. Did they have Homelander on here?
No, there's another one that should have been on here because
that's
Well,
a
he's
weird one.
technically
yeah,
he's a
there are bad
villain,
guys
but
on
yeah.
here. It's not just good
Yeah.
guys. Yeah. Hmm. I don't know. Just incomplete list, but I mean, to give him credit, many of these I've never heard of. So fairly good job. But you're right, Statesman, American Chavez, those are kind of bigger ones that you would think be on here. Although I do love that major victory pose. That is so epic, dude. Look at that. Look at
Yeah.
that. That's awesome.
Oh, Uncle Sam.
Yeah. Anyway, let's go take a look at. I'm trying to keep it very lighthearted today, having some fun. But let's take a look at one thing, and I'm more interested in talking about the movie than the headline. But go ahead.
The
Go
Daily
ahead.
Beast freaks out over the terminal list, calls it a quote unhinged right-wing revenge fantasy. Ooh,
Okay.
well, that's a
Uh,
good selling point. I want to watch that movie.
well, it's not correct though. It's not accurate at all. I
Dang it.
actually watched this here. My wife and kids, you have Amazon Prime, and occasionally she'll put something on I pay attention to. And I'm going to say this: I'm not going to give you any spoilers about it. But first of all, this is based on a Jack Carr book, and Jack Carr is a guy who is an actual, Navy SEAL, a real one. And he went out, he got out, he retired, and he started writing books. And it turned out he's a pretty damn good book writer, pretty good author. And he's had a bunch of success with his books, and they took this one. I think I've seen another one they took of his as well, and they turned it into an 8-part series. And this is what I'm going to say about it. I've never seen Chris Pratt better. It's the best thing I've ever seen him in. Now probably haven't
I've
seen all his stuff, but
seen
it's
other people
really
say
good.
the same thing about this movie, that
It's
this was his
excellent.
best performance.
It
Yeah.
is, and it is unhinged. But I think they missed the point. It has nothing to do with right wing anything. It's not political. There is no There is no of your standard politic or touch of any kind on it. It's actually it's a tragedy. Well, I'm not going to say anything because I think you should go watch it. But I loved it. I loved it. It was really, really well done. There were a couple little things that maybe I would have changed, but it was really, really well done. Chris Pratt absolutely kills it. And all I can tell you is the Daily Beast, whatever that is, I don't even know what that is. Unhinged right wing revenge fantasy? No, no, it's not. I don't know what you're talking about. It is a revenge thing. But that's the thing about the movie is no politic. And you know what? You got people of all kinds of colors and genders and all that kind of stuff going on, but it's just a movie. Excuse
It,
me.
it looked,
It's just
it looked
a
more
story.
like some type of like
It
espionage,
is.
like
Yeah.
Manchurian Candidate type thing.
Like I said, I don't want to give spoilers. It's not a Manchurian Candidate though.
Okay.
But no, it's just simple, good storytelling, dude. That's it. There's no politic at all involved in. That's why it's weird to see this headline. And like
Well,
I
I
said,
think the problem is that and this is in consideration of Thundara and I just having like an hour long like debate but to prove my like nonpartisanship, there's this weird obsession I think from the left on wanting Chris Pratt to be something that he's not, and
yeah,
it's frankly gotten kind of silly at this point.
well,
Um,
a lot of shit
and
gets
so
silly. Yeah,
I
yeah,
agree.
yeah.
so yeah. I mean, that's one I'll totally yield on and be like, people on the left have like this really weird obsession on Chris Pratt when he's like said nothing, dude.
No,
Right?
he
And
hasn't. Yeah,
The
he hadn't done
worst thing
anything.
that I say worst from their perspective, I would say the worst thing that he did is when he accepted like the Teen Choice Award or one of those nonsense awards, and he went on. They just told him to say something inspirational, and because he's a Christian, he started talking about God.
Sure.
yeah,
And ever since then, certain people just have not been able to let it go. Even though he's like, yeah, I probably shouldn't have said that. That was probably not the right time or place. He did everything they could have wanted as far as like walking it back, aside from saying I hate God. Other than
yeah.
that, but he did everything else they could have wanted, and they still just can't. They just
And
can't let it go.
I will yield to that as well. I'm an atheist, and I'm super don't like God myself. I think the whole concept's kind of silly, but I will totally agree. And it really shouldn't be a problem for him to believe in God, and
No.
that's just, and frankly just people being kind of weird and silly and
Yeah.
just and but luckily he's got a lot of support. Like James Gunn, like
He
really
does.
supports him, and James Gunn's about as left as you can possibly get. Same with like Batista and stuff like that, right? So I think there are a lot of people in his corner who are like think that this is where there's the crazy right side and there's definitely the crazy left side, and I think it's the crazy left side that really drives that narrative more than anyone else, and I think that's what leads to articles like this, right? They
Yeah.
see Chris Pratt in some type of like espionage thing, and I think the article just starts kind of writing itself at that point.
Yeah, but and you're right. I just saw Zachary. I think Zachary Levy. I think his name, the Shazam guy, the Chuck guy.
Mm-hmm.
Seems like the nicest guy ever. Just like Chris Pratt, he seems like a nice guy. But
Mhm.
Levy kind of came out with he was having a really bad time in his life, and turning to God and religion really brought him out of it and helped him get better.
Yeah,
And this wonderful story, but they just jump on it. It's like, dude, why are you so afraid of religion? You don't have to have your own religion. It's fine, but
Yeah,
why do you care about other people's? I don't get it. Because we're talking about faith here. We're not talking about bureaucracy, religious bureaucracy. We're just talking about faith. But they don't like it. But aside from that, like I said, there's nothing political about this anyway. I guess its headline is. But I'll tell you this. There were several times during the 8 episodes where I said was, damn, Chris bringing it, man. He took this deadly serious. He was he
he's a
he
good
was
actor.
yeah, he is. But it's really good. I liked it.
he's also a very even though he's a total goofball in real life, he's a
Mhm.
very serious actor. He actually really loves acting. Like I've seen him give interviews talking about it, and he takes it incredibly seriously, and he tries to treat all of the people around him while he's doing it as serious professionals
Mhm.
because he wants that sort of environment fostered on set.
Yeah,
So
and can I
no,
argue an additional problem that might be contributing to it,
sure.
and that is, and we've talked about it here before, is I think just a general sense of like Chris Pratt fatigue. He's a hard
Mhm.
worker, right, and
Yeah.
that should be celebrated. But like hard workers like Chris, like I'll give another example, like Will Ferrell. At a certain point, we were just tired of Will Ferrell movies.
Yeah, but I was tired of Will Ferrell the first time I saw his fucking face. Anyway, I'm sorry. Go ahead. Continue your comparison.
Poor Jesse.
Well, my point was being is that like it feels like we've got about like 2, maybe 3 Chris Pratt movies a year, like, and he's got
Yeah,
voiceover work coming out. He's going to be Mario, and then a lot of people are kind of pissed because they really wanted the original voice actor of Mario to be in.
I agree, actually.
And that feels like a miss, right? So,
Yeah.
So I think Chris Pratt fatigue has a portion to play with it. It's not the entire answer, but it's a portion of the answer.
Yeah, and I think it's a lot of it just they've decided to call him out. It's not like there aren't other multiple numbers of religious people within Hollywood. Uh, they just decided to call him out for some reason. But like I said, it doesn't matter. I wasn't really wanting to talk about that. I guess the headline did. But I just want to talk about how you should go watch this, is my point.
Well, he has another movie. Oh, that's just like a series, but he has a movie that
Is a
I think
series,
maybe
yeah.
more than one that he's done for Amazon as well. And there was similar articles about that movie too. I think it was the Tomorrow War. I think it was called.
Yeah, it was all
And there's
right.
nothing at all political about that at all.
No,
Nothing. It's
a
just a
popcorn
sci-fi
film.
movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just a popcorn sci-fi movie that was solid for the most part from beginning to end.
It's like a
And
5. It's an
yeah,
average
nice,
movie.
solid, simple movie, and it was, I recommend if you want to watch just a fun movie where you don't have to think too much. There you go.
Yeah.
I was even for whatever reason when I was watching it, I was waiting for something political to happen because so many people were talking about it, like there was this grand thing in it, and it just never. It was, if anything, it was more about a father and son. That's what the movie was about.
Yeah.
It was about parents. That's what it was about.
I don't. Well, daughter. But I don't think he's into that kind of stuff. However, that is a fun popcorn movie, by the way, the Tomorrow War or whatever it's called. I give that a 5, 5.5, easy. Yeah, it's a fun little movie. I'd give this an 8.
I mean, continuing with like the Chris Pratt fatigue, like Jurassic World Dominion's out, and that's really not a good film at all. I mean, I love the actors in it, I love the performances, but it's a garbage movie. Like,
well, that's the problem. Is it good or is it bad? I mean, that's kind of the point, right? But
that's more that the movie is shit than Chris Pratt, because let's be honest, Jurassic Park as a series has not been good since the first 2 movies.
Yeah, I'll totally agree to that.
We talk about the reboot, yeah.
Well, especially that first one. That first one is legitimately in the genre probably the best movie ever made in that genre. Just because there's so much. Yeah, there's so much in it. It's so deep. It's not just a dinosaurs horror movie or whatever you want to call it.
Dude,
it's so much going on there.
That's a generational movie. I mean, let's be fair.
Yeah, it's one of those movies that's going to last forever. It's not going away.
But I have not seen a lot of Chris Pratt stuff. I've seen him in the Guardians of the Galaxy. I love him as Star-Lord. Love him, right? I saw the Tomorrow War. It was fine. There was nothing wrong with that movie. And I've seen this series. That's all I really know from Chris Pratt. I like him in general. I think he's a nice guy. But my point I'm trying to push forward is go watch this, please.
Yeah,
you would like it. Yeah.
Well, part of the whole Chris Pratt controversy stems from the wasteland known as Twitter. It's the same 12 psychos who have been bitching about him for going on 5 years now.
Yeah, whatever.
So that's where most of it comes from. Most of the vitriol towards Chris Pratt comes from Twitter. And because people want to keep pretending that Twitter is far more relevant than it actually is, you get shit like this.
It seems to have pushed now.
Because quite frankly, it's the same people, and they keep putting it, and the only reason they keep pressing this is because they've had victories elsewhere. This is the same crowd that went after Gina Carano. It's the same crowd that tried to get Frank Oz canceled. If you give them any sort of victory, they keep going.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I should have chose a different headline, I think.
Well, James Gunn kind of brought that on himself. Those are not the kind. I'm a fan of everything should be allowed to be joked about within context, But if you're
Yeah,
joking,
yeah,
those aren't the kind
please.
of jokes you tell on the internet because you can't
Hard
tell
to
tone from
Grim,
contextualize it.
text.
Grim,
Yeah.
Grimlock, let's
You
not
you
open that can, please, please, please.
and
Yeah.
and also plus the fact Gunn brought it on himself is because he was happy when the blade fell on Roseanne's neck, but when the blade was starting to fall towards him, then he started crying. And I don't feel sorry for people when you can't die by the sword you picked up just a little
Get back
while
away.
ago. So
Okay.
Stupid
Uh,
it's all your
it is my fault. I should have just picked, a terminal list. I should have went to some movie site. But because that's all I really want to talk about. But I'll say this though,
yeah.
to show you how wrong this headline is, though, I will tell you this: this series is about what is a hero. That is really what it's about. What is heroic? What is good? What is actually justice? Is really what this is exploring in Mr. Carr's book, and of course, then
Hmm.
the series they made here. And this headline could not be more wrong. This is not political at all. The only word in here that's correct is unhinged, and in a good way. But I'm just saying, go check it out because yeah, I'm not going to say anymore. You should watch it. Chris Pratt brought it, dude. He brought it. Anyway, let's go to something else fun. I thought would be neat to look at with comic books today. But the test. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Thunder. Thundero.
I think he said he had to go somewhere real
Oh,
quick.
okay. Grimlock.
The 10 best DC crossovers of the last decade.
Okay, I thought it would be neat to see some of the crossovers because Disney could do more of it too. They could, but Warner Brothers has such an eclectic collection of stuff and being around as long as they have. That you see better ones on DC than Marvel. I think personally, I know I'm going to get yelled at for saying that, but there's been some pretty fun crossovers with DC. Not least of which we're looking right here in the middle, but it didn't look like this. But we'll see what they say because I haven't looked at it. Anyway, let's take a look down here. Number one, Power Rangers and the Justice League. That's interesting. I didn't even know this comic existed actually.
Yeah, I think I've seen it before.
Yeah, but the Power Rangers being put out by it's not Image, it's Dynamite, right?
Yeah, I think it's Dynamite.
Yeah, they've done a really good job with that, dude. They
It's
really.
Boom Studios.
It's Boom. Okay, wow, Boom. I like Boom. But nevertheless, they've done it. We've talked about it several times, and I've actually read a couple when I was doing the new Comic Wednesday show with Brad Ashworth, and you had to read a lot of stuff to do that show, right? And I read some of these. It's pretty good, dude. It's much better than the show. I'll tell you that. I think I've upset
You
Roger.
not you'll get no pushback from me because I've
Yeah.
the book is pretty good. It really is. Some I would say some really creative ideas that went into that, and it actually um expanded into one of the video games they made, Power Rangers Battle for the Grid. So I had no problem with it. It's pretty good.
Right, right. And they mentioned that here in the article. I kind of agree. I don't know why they chose this one because I never heard of this one. But Power Rangers and Ninja Turtle crossover, I thought would have been the choice because that actually was pretty fun. Anyway, number
Not
nine.
DC though.
No, you're right. You're right. You're right. But Ruby and Justice League. Once again, I'd never heard of it. Ruby is Rooster Teeth creation. I think my daughter watched a few episodes of it or something. I remember it being on the TV. It was all right. I didn't think of it, but it's become quite popular. You guys know that Ruby has its own board game.
Yeah, I think they've got a lot of different like market stuff going on with Ruby, but
Yeah.
yeah, it's its own thing.
Yeah, I never whatever, but it's once again, it's one of those things that's not for me. It's all right. But my daughter didn't seem to like it much either. She didn't watch much of it. But whatever, I know it's a thing. I know it's popular. But once again, I've never heard of it. Never heard of this. How did I not hear of this? I don't know. I mean, I've been doing comic books for years. How in the hell have I not? Whatever. Anyway, moving on. Okay. Here we go. Batman 66 Green Hornet. I do know this one, and it was fun. You guys read this comic? No?
No, but I need to.
Yeah, you do. It's great fun, dude. It's a good fun comic book. This is actually something I would like because they did like Adam West Batman animated show a few years back,
Yeah.
a movie. It was great fun. Of course, I think Adam passed away, didn't he?
Yes.
Yeah. And it was great that they got that done before he passed away. That was great fun. But this comic right here, they should do that same thing. They should turn it into an animated movie. I think people would love it. It'd be in the same vein as the one I just mentioned. It was great.
I mean, we already have the live action one, right? That's what I think of. They had that crossover between the two episodes. I mean, that's what this is referencing, right? So.
It is. It is. It's talking about the TV show where they did have that crossover. Yeah, because they were running simultaneously.
Yeah.
But I just would like to see a. Yeah, I like the treatment they gave that Adam West animated movie. It was fun and it was funny. It was just really well done. I enjoyed it. And this right here, I think, would be another one. So far, I'm not seeing stuff I recognize much. This is the first one.
Mm.
Black Light and Hong Kong Phooey. Well, please, I haven't read this, but I'm gonna have to.
That's
Jeez,
it. God, Hong Kong Phooey is one I haven't heard of or thought of in a long time.
I love me some Hong Kong Phooey, dude. And the old Black Lightning was quite a fun character, actually. I don't know what the hell they were doing with him on that CW show. It's weird. But Black Lightning was a cool character. Hong Kong Phooey. I have to read this one. Do you know this one, Grimlock?
I heard of it. I never. Every time I went and looked for some of those crossovers, I didn't find them. So
Mhm.
that was one of them. Because I do like that cover. I would buy that just for the cover.
Sure, yeah. Yeah. Well, the cool thing is, because we're starting to get the Hanna-Barbera stuff, their Hanna-Barbera crossovers have been awesome, and hopefully we'll see some more on the list. I'm not going to say what my favorite is, but there's been some really good ones. It's something in your brain that says no way it would never work, but it works wonderfully.
Well,
They've looked.
one book that I did read that was it was a Hanna Barbera DC book. It wasn't a crossover, but I really enjoyed it. Was a Space Ghost.
Mm,
That one was. I really enjoyed that one. The art was really good in that. It was. It wasn't Alex Ross, but it had a very Alex Ross vibe. Everything felt painted.
that's cool. Yeah.
It was a pretty
Alex.
good book. Pretty dark for a Space Ghost story, but I liked it.
I like Space Ghost when he's dark, when he's more normal than the goofy stuff they did on that whatever that show was. What was
Yeah.
that thing where they took Space Ghost and
Space Ghost Coast to Coast.
Coast to Coast? Yeah. I preferred the old Space Ghost where it was it was legitimate. It was more interesting.
Well, I would recommend that because it's a pretty good book. It's pretty dark, like,
I have
but
to read it.
it was a nice setup. It even showed how he met the kids.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah, no, I'll have to read that. I do like me some old school Space Ghost. This definitely sounds neat. Hong Kong Fu. I didn't even know they brought him in, Dad. You gotta go. We gotta read that. Gotta read that. Big B Wolf and Batman. Well, this is a Wolf Amongst Us, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Telltale
this just
stuff.
happened.
Coming out of the Fable comic books.
Yep.
This just happened. Okay, I haven't read this one, but I do love those Fable comic books, though. Those things are awesome, by the way. And it makes sense. Batman and Bigby together, it could be cool, dude. Anybody read this? Anybody?
Nope.
Huh.
No, it's on my to-do list.
Is the
I
DC label like they're more kind of adult stuff?
They are.
Yeah.
So I thought.
Yeah.
Black Label has turned out to be Vertigo now that they fucked up the Vertigo reboot.
Yeah, well, I know it got a lot of flack when it first came out, but the concept of Black Label as opposed to Marvel's Max, I think it's a good idea. I like the idea of Black Label. They just need to not be dumb about it. We don't need to see Bruce Wayne's penis. It's not necessary.
Yeah, that's we said dark, not porn.
Yeah, I mean, and a lot of people, especially with the young people these days, they're way oversexed, man. And that's me talking, coming from the '80s, by the way.
I
Uh,
agree.
yeah, well, they are. Well, no, they are, dude.
Sat
Because
down and Jessica goes, "Young people are way oversexed." I don't even know what the conversation is, but I agree with you, Jessica.
well, no, they are because everything is goes that way. And when you hear something that you say it's adult, automatically they seem to think pornography. It's not actually even close to
Yeah,
being true.
yeah,
It's
yeah.
not,
A lot of that is because of the porn industry's fact that it's so ubiquitous online, especially.
and it's fair.
Mm.
Yeah, but this definitely. So we got two. I'm definitely got to read. I got to read the Hong Kong Fooey. I mean, that's just religious.
He's the #1 super guy.
He is. But this right here might be really good, actually. I do love the Fable comics. And the Wolf Amongst Us game, I played it. It's a pretty good game, dude.
It is pretty good. It's probably their
Too bad
best
they
one.
blew up. Did the second one ever get released?
It is coming.
Supposed to be coming out.
Yeah,
Supposed
we know that Telltale collapsed, but it got picked up, and they are coming out. It is coming, so that's good.
big
But yeah,
news coming.
that's cool.
Should
Let's
do
see what
that.
we got
That should
here.
be their marketing.
Star Trek.
Big news
What?
coming.
Star Trek and Green Lantern. What?
What? Oh, oh no.
What's with that artwork?
I
Like
don't.
both Hal and Kirk look super sassy.
That
Yeah,
is
this isn't
Um,
good, dude. This is horrible art.
that's
not good.
that's been this weird. It's an IDW thing because that's the art style they have
Uh,
used in every one of these Star Trek crossovers. That seems to be the art style they've gone with. I don't know why they're going with that. They did
So
that
many extraneous
with
lines
the
everywhere.
because they did that with the Star Trek Transformers crossover too, and it just looks goofy to me. I don't like that style.
Why
Look at all those extra like not needed lines on the facial features and on the armor and stuff. It's just so busy. It like hurts
Yeah,
my eyes to look at.
yeah, no, I will just write it down. Ben said it looks gay. I got it. Uh,
I did not say that, but
you did though.
Ah,
But you're right, especially Kirk over here. He's looking all thick-lipped and
for
he's
sure.
ready.
Kirk's
He's
looking
ready.
at him right there. Is that supposed to be anger or
I
affection
don't
or
know.
attraction? I'm
But
very confused by that expression.
beyond the art being bad, which I agree, Ben, I just don't understand the concept. Star Trek and Green Lantern.
Yeah, that
Star
has
Trek
no
is hard
correlation.
sci-fi. It's real
Yeah,
sci-fi. Green Lantern is fantasy, really.
yeah. I mean,
I
it's
don't.
space magic. It's literal space magic. The Green Lanterns. That's what
Yeah,
that
yeah,
is.
yeah, and that's fine. I love both, but they
Yeah.
don't go together.
Can I play devil's advocate for of all of the things in the DC universe why Star Trek and Green Lanterns go well together or is the best match they could possibly make? Because Star Trek's all about, the applying our morality to very alien scenarios, right? That's the whole thing about like First Contact and
Sure.
the Prime Directive and all that good stuff, right? With the Green Lantern Corps, the fact that they are policing the literal like galaxy and stuff like that, and if you read a lot of those, Green Lantern comics where they deal with alien cultures and there are missteps and stuff like that, you could like there is an argument to be made here that there is like crossover to be made if it's handled well. I just don't have faith that it was.
No, I don't either. I get what you're saying, but the thing about Star Trek that differentiates itself from OA is Star Trek is very introspective,
Right.
right?
Mm.
Would you talk about the Prime Directive and stuff like that? It's not always yay we have this great ideal and this morality. A lot of times it backfires on them, and
Totally.
and they show off the arrogance of the concept from time to time. Star
Right.
Trek is great in its introspection. And Green Lantern, OA is not introspective at all. They are in
No,
charge.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
So
Well,
so
yeah.
it's interesting because the reason why I would say it's a reach is because of the Prime Directive, Federation members. This has to be multiple multiverse stuff, right? Obviously.
maybe a
Right.
So
mirror
the
universe. Yeah.
Federation, if they were in their universe, it would, to do anything against the Green Lanterns or opposed to the Green Lanterns would be a violation of the Prime Directive.
That's true. Yeah. And I do love the fact that Star Trek played with that well because the utopian concept, Gene Roddenberry, he understood the pitfalls of that concept. And
Yeah.
and I think this is one of the enduring factors of Star Trek actually. But yeah, this is weird. Next, let's see what we got. Oh yes, now that's not the picture I would have chose. I would have chose one of the ones from the actual comic. Uh, Batman Elmer Fudd is one of the
What?
best damn comics you could ever read. It's freaking awesome. Have you guys read
Oh
this book?
no,
No.
I didn't even know it existed.
No, dude, I'm not joking. Go find Batman Elmer Fudd on one part of the Hanna-Barbera crossover stuff and read it. It's freaking awesome, dude. I know it doesn't make sense in your brain. I know your brain is yelling at you. No, Chester, you're wrong, Chester. No, Chester's right. You go read
Oh,
this because it's badass. And
very
keep in
sure.
mind, Elmer Fudd doesn't look anything like this in the comic, by the way.
Does Batman look like that, or?
No, no, I don't know why they
Okay.
chose this picture. You should have chose one from the comic because it's freaking awesome, dude.
That's it. That's a crossover. I don't know if it's a wise one, but it's
Oh
a
no, dude.
crossover.
Go read it. I'm telling you. It's really, really good. Another really good crossover they did. Well, I'll save it. We'll see if they pop it in here. But Ben, have you? Come on, Ben. You must have read Batman Elmer Fudd. It's impossible that you haven't read this.
It is I have not read it,
Holy
so it is
crap,
totally
dude.
possible.
Yeah, no, Devilish agrees. Batman Fudd was crazy good. I was shocked. So was I, dude. It's insanely good. It has no right to be that good, but it's freaking epic, dude. You have to read Batman and Elmer Fudd now, today. Go find it.
Immediately.
Yes, it just doesn't deserve to be that good, but it is. All right, Planet of the Apes, Green Lantern. Now that's interesting.
Hey, this makes no sense
No,
compared. Star Trek and Green Lantern makes more sense than this.
it
Yeah.
does, but it's just what drugs were they doing is what I want to know.
I'm guessing that's supposed to be Caesar with a Green
I'm
Lantern, a
imagining
Green
it's
Lantern.
Caesar, yeah, or
Yeah.
Cornelius, maybe.
That's just no. Some might see you have these ideas sometimes, DC, and somebody needs to just be the guy to be like, no, just no. That's silliness. Stop it.
It is bizarre. What? I didn't even. Once again, another one I didn't know existed. Comics or TV shows were sure they can seamlessly place within the universe canon. It gets a little
Oh no,
difficult
it
with
is
a
Cornelius.
self-contained film. Yes, yeah, makes sense. Planet of the Apes line. All in all, the series managed to put an exciting, it was a series, exciting plot device within the Planet of the Apes universe that made Green Lantern's presence there worthwhile. Huh.
What?
It is
So
Cornelius. Yeah.
is this the top 10 list? The top 10 crossovers?
For DC Comics, yeah.
Okay,
In the
so
last decade.
so what's worse, like the fact that they made this, or that it made like what is it, number 3 on this list?
Well,
Yeah,
meaning it
it's
might be good.
way too high.
Oh, I don't know. I've never read it. I have no clue. I've only read a couple of these. I mean, and I know Batman Fudd is freaking epic. I know that. But it is weird though. That one strikes me odd. Not as weird. You're right, Ben, that you can make a justification for Green Lantern and Star Trek, but that one is the weirdest in my head so far.
Yep, I would
Yeah,
agree.
yeah, it's weird. But
I'm
anyway,
just saying,
now.
for my personal taste, I'd put Batman and Hornet at 3
Yeah, no.
immediately.
Yeah, no, that's one of the ones I actually read. It was fun. That was fun. This is actually really good. Have you read the
Yeah, that,
Batman Shadow stuff?
This is really like I'm a big Shadow fan to begin with, and this is just pure joy.
It is good. Yeah, definitely read this. And there's a bunch of these. This isn't one. I don't know. I've saw at least 5, I think. But yeah, go check out the Batman Shadows. Have you read any of these Grimlock or Thundero?
No, not Batman and Shadow.
Yeah, no, it's
I'd
really
like to
good.
though.
Well, it's straight up and it makes perfect sense, right?
Oh yeah,
There's no bending or twisting to get it to work. It just works.
I would. You could almost. I mean, it obviously is a crossover, but it almost could just not be. It's such a good fit.
It
Those two
is. Well,
characters.
Batman is a recreation of Shadow anyway. I
Yeah,
mean, really.
yeah.
To be fair. But yeah, no, go check these out. These are excellent. Yeah, very good. And we've seen a lot of good new Shadow stuff in general coming out of the past decade. I don't know why Shadow's had a resurgence, but he has.
Good. You should.
Yeah.
He
Is
Yes,
he
sir.
public domain now?
Maybe.
might
Probably.
be. He's
Yeah.
got to be close if he's not.
I would imagine he is. He's got to be. I mean, he was mega popular all the way through the 20s, all the way up to nearly the 50, even into the 50s. He was one of the biggest. I mean, in all honesty, as far as publication view, listenership, and all that kind of stuff, Shadow's probably the biggest hero character of all time.
Looks like the Shadow hits public domain in 2027.
Oh, there you go. So he's
yeah.
definitely
Okay.
yeah.
Getting there.
Yeah.
Anyway, good choice though. Definitely good choice. Go check that out. And what is number one? Anyone want to guess? I don't know.
No idea.
It's got to be Batman TMNT.
Yeah.
That's probably it.
Maybe.
Yeah, that would make sense.
If we're talking about the last decade, it has to be them.
Well, let's see. There you go.
Yep.
There it is.
There it is. Yeah, I have not read it. I should though.
It's the
Yes,
original
it is.
TMNT. That is not really that big of a stretch with the original tone of that book.
Yeah.
But with the more, popularized version of it, you have to play a little bit. But that original tone would fit right in that world. Easy.
Well, not only that. All right, so this one, it not only spawned 3 books, all of them are good, but it spawned the animated movie based on the first book,
right?
Which was also really good. It also spawned a second team up book where they had the more cartoon style, where the Turtles was more of the Nickelodeon 2012 series, and Batman was more of the animated series look.
Huh.
So so in terms of success, far and away, this team up was nothing but good for everybody involved. And Freddie Williams' art in the first 3 books is just great. I was fortunate enough to get an autograph from Freddie
cool.
at one of the cons that came out not long after the second book. So
cool.
Yeah.
I haven't read it. I should check it out. I'm not usually a person
Chester,
who grabs
a battle.
Yeah.
A good battle that you didn't know you wanted to see: Shredder versus Batman.
Oh no, that sounds pretty good actually.
Yeah.
Yeah, especially a serious Shredder, not a goofy one.
Yes.
Yeah, that'd be fun.
Yes, he is.
That's why I love the first movie, the first Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle movie. That Shredder in that movie was scary.
Yeah, that was a really good movie though, dude.
And he didn't do much either. They just did such a great job of building his mystique. He didn't have to do much.
The shark.
Oh,
yeah.
Yep.
But I guess I got to check this one out. So there's a couple in there I got to read. Definitely a Black Lightning and Hong Kong Phooey need to be read. But that's cool. I don't usually gravitate toward crossovers, to be honest with you. There is something, it's not on the list because I don't think there was any crossover in it. I don't remember. I don't think so. But the Hanna-Barbera stuff, they came out with a thing for Snagglepuss. Now,
yeah, they also did one with Jabberjaw that I wouldn't mind getting a hold of.
Yeah, no, I haven't read that one. The Snagglepuss I read, and now if you guys, for those of you who are gay phobic, maybe don't read it. But I loved it, dude. I loved it. It was great.
I saw that book, but for some reason I didn't like the way they drew Snagglepuss. Like there was something a bit off-putting about it to me. I guess watching the cartoons growing up, and you see that style for him.
Sure. Well, Elmer's done too. Elmer, it doesn't look like Elmer either. Yeah. But I just those Hanna-Barbera books that DC was putting out, they're pretty cool, dude. They're pretty cool.
An honorable mention, since it's surprising it didn't make it here, since they're both under DC's wing currently. Also drawn by Freddie Williams. Masters of the Universe versus Thundercats.
Ooh.
I just want that to be a movie, in fact.
Yes, that would be awesome, dude.
DC's Masters of the Universe, since they took it over, I think is really great. Having somebody like Dan Abnett and James Robinson write it, I really enjoyed it. I think that for some reason they don't promote that series. I don't know why, but that was some really good stuff.
Yeah, no, I've seen some pretty good stuff from both those IPs. It's good that there's still some love going for that stuff. Especially keep in mind those things were made purely to sell toys. They really were.
Yeah,
But
it worked.
they become ingrained in the culture, really, I think.
Yeah.
And they did work. Devilish said Snagglepuss was exactly what I thought it'd be. Love. Uh, no, I'm telling you, it's pretty good. It's pretty good if you can get past that one point. But the actual one that just looking at what I'm looking at here, and of course this was really good too, though. But I have to say that it's kind of like, was it a one shot or was it the limited series? I can't remember now. But that Batman Fudd, Elmer Fudd thing, dude, read that. Anyway, moving on though. Interesting list, however. Interesting. I like these lists. They're kind of fun. They're usually wrong, but you guys seem to kind of basically agree with it.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
neat.
I think the Batman Shadow. I mean, yes, it is a crossover, but like I said, that's just such a perfect fit.
It is. Yeah.
It's kind of silly it took a crossover event, quote unquote, book for that to be a thing. Just let the Shadow be in his world. Like, why not?
Yeah.
It's a perfect fit.
It is. It is a perfect fit. It's true. Anyway, let's move on here. This has actually got some information in this article that's kind of interesting. Go ahead.
Black Panther 2 leaks reveal Namor, Shuri, not even gonna try that.
Okoye.
Atuma, Iron. Okoye, that's right. Atuma and Iron.
Now, before I get into this, I want to, because I've read this article, so I want to actually ask a couple of questions, and might as well start at the top. Black Panther. We know we have a problem because sadly the dude died. It's a real
Good dude
shame.
too.
Yeah, he seemed like a nice fellow, and he was, I don't know if I don't know how high I put him on my what acting I like out of him, but he's a tryhard anyway.
Yeah.
It was very sad, and of course it throws a major monkey wrench into your film plans. I want to, before we look at it, I want to ask you guys a question. Who do you think is the new Black Panther?
Well, there was
Honestly, as
Shuri.
go ahead, Ben.
Sorry, I thought I heard them talking about Shuri being the new Black Panther.
Okay, Grimlock.
As I've said before, I just think they should recast the role.
Mm.
They're trying. I think the look. I understand Chadwick's passing was unfortunate, but they
It
really make
was.
it sound like he was Sean Connery as James Bond. And
No, no.
hey, look, we saw Sean Connery get replaced. If you can replace Sean Connery as Bond, there ain't but so many people you can. There's nobody I see that can't be replaced,
It's just too
especially
soon,
for that
dude.
kind of
I
role.
understand why they feel that way. But you're
Too
right.
soon. He's been gone for what, a few years now.
Yeah, but
Mm.
it's the next film. It just I get it.
I
And no,
I
he's not the greatest actor. Matter of fact, the only thing that saved that movie from being a four is the Creed boy. I can't remember his name.
well, I'm
Michael
gonna
B.
be
Jordan.
honest. As far as roles that Chadwick has done, I could name other movies I enjoyed him in a lot more than that.
Yeah,
For
Civil War. It was fantastic
uh,
as T'Challa in Civil War.
well, hell, I'm just saying as Black Panther. Period. I would say I preferred him as Jackie Robinson in 42,
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah,
and
it's pretty
he
good.
was great as James Brown in Get On Up. So I preferred those two roles over his portrayal of T'Challa. And like outside of Civil War, I don't think T'Challa was portrayed that well.
Well, it wasn't a great movie.
So
Was the problem, and you can put script writing and yeah, there was a lot of problems in that movie. Okay, Thundero, who's the next Black Panther?
Um, it should be Shuri just because that's what they were setting up, but it's probably the general lady. Is that Okoye? Is that her
Okoye.
name?
Yeah, Okoye. Yeah. Okay. Next question I'm going to ask before we get. I don't need to talk about all the things we talk about here, but there's two. Uh, what do you think they're going to do with Namor?
Oh, I don't even want to know. It's not going to be good, is it?
I don't know. It's question. That's
Well, because they
I don't
automatically
know.
can't do him right. They haven't set up any of the backstory that he's a part of.
Yeah,
So
but it's so weird that I'm curious to guess. What I just guess. What do you think they're going to do with Namor?
well, the funny thing is, Namor in personality kind of fits with the way they tried to write characters in the MCU. He's snarky, he's smug, he's egotistical.
Yep.
He should be a home run because that's right up there, a lot of their writers' alley.
Yeah.
So they should get that part of him down, packed.
Okay.
And it's really kind of unfortunate that we don't have like so here's kind of the problem. If you don't have T'Challa, like it feels like Namor is going to be, because his greatest rivalry or the greatest conflict he had was with T'Challa. They're both kings.
Recently,
There's
it's true.
there's a lot of egos between them, right? And so I mean, T'Challa, Namor. There's a lot you can do to introduce him. You're right. They haven't done all the backstory work, and it's hard to kind of go back and kind of retro do it right now.
Mm-hmm.
But he's only been interested in like the surface world for the most part in a lot of his storylines. When it interrupts like his kingdom and such. So I'm guessing they're going to do something about like global warming having an effect on like the oceans, and stuff like that. That's kind of where I would go in that it kind of pulls him out of his bubble to deal with the surface world, right?
Well, to be honest though, seeing as Namor, for real comic book people, we know and love Namor, but for the average public, they don't know him. Most people know who Aquaman is, but not Namor. And seeing as DC has already done Aquaman, and we all agree that he should have been Lobo, but he's okay as Aquaman. It's fine. I'm surprised they're doing Namor at all. I would think they would just drop it completely out, but they are.
They killed Quicksilver, right? Because there was already a really well done Quicksilver in X-Men, and they were like, "Oh boy, like we don't want to compete with that." And I mean, that's why Joss Whedon killed Quicksilver. He's like, "I'm not going to be able to do it as well as they did in X-Men. I can't dedicate the screen time and characterization to it." So he just killed them off instead, right? I mean, that's really why that happened, right?
Well, I think part of it is they may be changing that thinking, because look how many different. I mean, we have Miles Morales for one. We have his own Into the Spider-Verse, the animated series.
Right.
And you had the 3 Spider-Men in No Way Home, and there's a lot of talk about bringing back one or both of them to have their own runs again in their separate movies. They might be changing that thinking, and that might actually be a good thing, because then maybe we could get Namor properly, or at least close to properly, instead of doing some crazy nonsense with him, turn him into Captain Planet or something. Like, instead of doing something weird like that, or Captain Ocean, just let him be Namor, because Namor's he's a badass. He's not like Aquaman. Namor's
Nothing
awesome.
at all like Aquaman.
Yeah.
He's a mutant for one.
Yes.
And he's more of a villain than anything, to be honest with you.
He dances on that line a lot.
Well, and so in support of Thundero's premise here, right? I think a good argument for that as well is Doctor Strange, where they let characters. So, like Scarlet Witch started as a hero, but she was absolutely the villain of that movie, right? And so, I think they're more willing to have these characters dance that line a bit more. And Namor is a great example of a character that can dance that line, who can be heroic, but also have his villainous moments and stuff, and you dance a finer line with it, and also we've opened up cinematography, because Sam Raimi doesn't do typical like cinematography like they do in other Marvel movies and stuff. So I think that does open up more opportunities for us from characterization and how we portray some of these storylines.
Yeah, but
another one in a similar fashion, at least the way that looks like they're going to be portraying him is, and obviously this is DC, but still, that this error might be in the wind at Hollywood. Black Adam, because Black Adam is obviously going to be the protagonist of his own movie, but it doesn't seem like he's going to be a good guy. Right?
Well, we're going to talk about that in a minute. Don't get ahead of yourself.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, know your place in there.
Yes. Next. It's next. But I don't know. Unless Namor is banging someone's wife, it ain't going to be right.
That's true.
That's plain and simple. Yeah. But keep in mind, Kevin Feige is 100% involved in these processes. And your first mutant you're going to get on screen is Namor.
Cool.
That actually could work, though, because Namor he has a lot of potential to be able to bridge that gap a lot, because he's so many things, right? He's a mutant, but he's also the ruler of the frickin' ocean, basically. Like, there's so much you can do with him to bring him into the world and kind of explain what he is.
Also,
I think it could work.
so let's follow that same thought line, Thundero, because I like where your head's at. If Namor comes out and he's like the first mutant and is like publicly known as a mutant, right? And
Yep.
he is more the villain than the hero in the film, right? That he's a
Right.
bit more of an asshole, and that's where we start going towards the lines of introducing mutants. That could help fuel some of the anti-mutant like storylines. Is from his presence and his actions in the film.
Maybe.
I like that.
Maybe. Yeah,
Because
that's
we've
true.
kind of already seen him do to where basically Magneto is that guy, right? He's that introductory and a big bad villain in the universe for him. So if we're gonna get away from the tired formula of Magneto bad all the time, that's what we get. I'm okay with that. Do it
We've
with
never
Namor.
got that in the movies, though.
Well, what I mean by that, yeah, we did. What do you mean? The first movie,
No.
he's absolutely the villain of that
Sure,
movie. What are you
but
talking about?
then in other movies he's not. He's a villain that you understand his motivation.
Yes, but I'm saying he's he's our introduction to a villainous mutant.
Right.
Oh,
And
fair. That's fair. Okay.
I think can work as well, maybe even better, because of what Namor is with Namor. Personally.
Maybe. Well, I mean, I'm kind of curious how what kind of power level they're going to put him at, right? Because I could see a
Yeah.
scene where he comes in and just thumps Thor, right? Because the Namor
Yep.
can thump Thor.
Yep.
But I'm not sure because they've ridiculously underpowered and overpowered various characters. Doctor Strange is incredibly underpowered. Wanda is incredibly overpowered. Even with the demon in her, she's not taking Strange, dude. Not even. So I don't know. They're all over the place with it. They underpower things, they overpower things. So I'm not sure what they're going to do with Namor. It's weird, but I'm going to show you what they're thinking, though. Let's take a look. First, I'm going to show it to you, and I just hold on here, okay. So here's a little bit of our Namor, okay, okay. But they've made a decision. Okay, that's your Namor. He is Mayan.
What?
Yes.
Like, okay, like so.
Yeah,
So
I
our
know.
boy
I know.
Momoa playing Aquaman, it kind of makes sense, right? Because
Sure.
Polynesians and the ocean, it's like, all right, I can buy that. I can buy that leap. But
Didn't they
Mayan?
disappear like surprisingly or something like that? I mean, that could be where they're going with that, right?
No, they are.
Maybe.
He's Mayan. That's Kevin Feige's announcement. This is not a rumor. This is not theory. This is what he is. He is a Mayan something or another. The Atlanteans are Mayan. I
But they're
just
not
want
an
to.
aquatic people, the Mayans. They
No, they're
weren't.
not at all. They have nothing to do with it at all. The Polynesians were.
Yeah,
I'm not. Well, I'm not going to get a history lesson, but they're not related to the Mayans. Let's just say that.
no.
It's I don't know. When I saw it, I don't know what to think, Ben, because when I look at it, it's like what my brain is misfiring, right? But then it's also saying, well, but, and then no, but no. I don't know, Ben. Help me out. I'm having problems. I need medicine.
I don't think it's necessarily a terrible thing. I mean, there are aspects of history that is kind of an interesting use of that because it's always been like this great mystery, like what happened to the Mayans, right? And so and for those who aren't as like familiar with history, they probably know like that like surface level of it. So it just I think adds a layer of mystery and interestingness to the characterization.
Yeah.
Unless Chester, they're going to say that the quote disappearance of the Mayans was basically the same thing as the sinking of Atlantis, right? Mythologically.
Sure.
And the people were forced, like the Atlanteans, to mutate. And that's where Namor and the mutation comes from. Unless that's
Yeah.
the plan, which,
Well,
okay, maybe I could buy that. But
they're not going to do the standard comic book. They're going to do something different with them, and I'm okay with that. To be fair, I'm okay with that. And
yeah,
I don't have a problem with this per se either. I just don't know what to think. My brain is confused. It's like, is
yeah,
this good or not? I don't know.
I think it's also done on purpose to try to further separate
Yeah.
him
Yeah.
from Aquaman,
Sure.
right? Because they have to do it because Atlantis, right? He's in Atlantis, right? Like you're gonna have so many comparisons to Jason Momoa, right? And so and all of the stuff they did in Aquaman. So you have to do extra steps to separate yourself from that as much as possible. And this is one of those steps.
I will
Yeah,
say
no, I
this:
understand. I
that
do.
To me,
design there, I
it's
like that
it's weird
design.
because it's awfully specific. Like I understand
Right.
people would draw that comparison because let's face it, 90% of the people who are going to watch this movie has never read a comic, don't know the difference between Marvel and DC. So yeah, they probably would think it's the same thing.
Mhm.
Mhm.
So I get that part. I get that aspect of it, but that's all right. So you have Mayans, but he somehow it. Then where is exactly where you're saying Atlantis is? Because for this to work, is it just going to be because Wakanda is an isolated nation as it is. So for
Right.
Namor and any of his people to be playing a role in this, I gotta think. I would think that logically, it's something that's happening in that region specifically
Mm.
that is drawing Namor's ire.
Right. Well, they
Because,
might
like you
just
said,
drop it in the
for the
Gulf of
most part, he
Mexico, right?
doesn't
They might just drop it in the Gulf of Mexico.
They'd have to.
Yeah.
That's what I was
lie.
saying. That's got to be what they're going to do. I mean, maybe they're not. Maybe they have some other idea. But if I was writing it and I decided I wanted Namor to be Mayan for some reason, that's what I would do. I would turn the Atlantis myth into the vanishing of the Mayans. It's the same.
Sure.
Say it's the same myth, and there you go.
Well,
That's the only thing I can think they're going to
I
do, unless it's just a generic, bam, now he's Mayan because we want more Hispanics.
well,
Maybe
well,
that's it.
well,
I don't know.
and that's a couple things I want to put some points on. The idea off the top of it is no problem whatsoever. It could be cool. The look
Yeah.
they got here is pretty neat.
Yep.
So that in and of itself, it's not a problem at all. There is some problem for the historians amongst us.
Hmm.
He's a Mexican slash Mayan. What?
I don't know how that happened, but
What?
okay.
The Aztecs have no relation whatsoever. But whatever. Okay, fine. And the disappearance in the Mayan, it's not as mysterious as you think it is.
Oh, I know that, but most people don't.
Well,
Most
that's
people
what I was
still
saying.
live under the delusion that it's this big mystery.
Right. That's like yeah. That's what I
Yeah.
was saying earlier.
Yeah.
But I don't know. It could be. It looks cool. I think it looks cool. I like the look of it.
I do too. I really
Yeah.
like that design, and I'm not against the idea of Mesoamerican
No.
inclusion, if I can use the buzzword, because I think the aesthetic of the culture is really fucking cool. So you can do really cool shit with it in a comic book, especially.
Yeah, and
Like
especially if
my
you do it
wife
real
was in
techie
here.
like this. Yeah.
Yeah, my wife was in here playing Mortal Kombat 11. In Mortal Kombat 11, they have Kotal Khan, and Kotal
Hmm.
Khan is straight up Aztec. I mean, that's just what he is. He's a
Yeah.
giant Aztec being, and he does all these really cool like light powers and all this stuff, and he's got tattoos on him like Aztec style. He just looks awesome. I
Hmm.
don't hate the idea of it. It's just I'm with you. Like, how does it make sense?
Yeah.
How did Namor? How is he that?
Yeah. No. It could be cool though. It could be. I'm not against it at all. I love the look of it, to be honest with you.
Yeah,
But it just my brain just skipped. I was like, huh?
yeah,
It could be really cool because I think it looks freaking awesome. Especially if you get some buff dude like this that can pull it off. Hell yeah.
yeah. Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Just get it. You could just get another wrestler. Why not? Batista did okay. Why not?
Yeah, he turned out to be pretty fun in what he does. All right, so I think we all agree interesting.
Could be
Yeah,
potentially interesting.
potentially. It depends on how they handle it. It could be fun. Let's come down here. Now, of course, Wakanda Forever. Of course, that's the name of it. Of
Yeah.
course it is. There is not a single Black Panther. There are two.
Thundaro,
I
since
know
you mentioned it, you know who would probably make a cool looking Namor, but I think he's just too small? Finn
he would.
Balor.
He would actually. He's freaking
That
shredded.
face, those expressions, he just going by his face, he would make a great Namor, but he's a
He's
bit on the
got the
small
body
side.
for it. That's for sure. My lord,
Yeah,
that
he's
dude's in
shredded.
shape.
Yeah.
I don't think he's eaten a carb in 15 years. It's insane.
Yeah, it's growing on me very quickly, actually. I'm I'm starting to dig the idea, actually. And like I said, I know I'm going to get yelled at. I understand a lot of you are not happy with Mr. Feige, and I know why. but he
Because he's been
does
fucking up.
he does love comic books, and he has
He
some
does.
good ideas. It could be cool. Now, I don't know about this whole thing with two Black Panthers, though. I don't know.
No, I don't like that.
I don't like it at all.
Just like I don't like Spider-Man. That's dumb. Just no, stop.
I
Stop it.
understand she's the royal shooty, but she's not a fighter. She's a tech science girl. It doesn't make any sense. Okoye, becoming a Black Panther. Okay, fine.
Sure.
It could be. It could be. But honestly, I agree with Grimlock. Just recast the character for frick's sake, dude. What are you
I think
doing?
if for some reason they just won't recast him, and I understand why, there's plenty of other characters that they introduced in that movie,
Mhm.
like Okoye could be fine, that they could use as Black Panther.
Yeah, you
Just pick
could.
one.
It makes
Just
sense.
pick one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I actually
But
like Okoye as being Black Panther because I remember watching the first Black Panther movie and thinking like, goddamn, like he's got like this like the flower that gives him like super strength and reactions, and he got the suit. She's just over there at the fucking spear, like matching him like move for move, and I'm like, why the fuck are they giving her the flower and the fucking power suit?
You do
Badass.
realize that that's Hollywood wokeism that did that, right?
yeah, that's part of
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
But it's
but,
also the reason why that Killmonger in that movie is so stupid because he could give any of his henchmen those flowers, and they would still most likely serve him. And now he'd have a bunch of super soldiers running around. Ah, that damn movie. That
No,
damn movie.
Of course, it's just a fucking movie, Chet. But I'm just saying, is like she was really badass in that, and
well,
I
He
think
did a good
ass Black Panther.
no,
So,
I agree. I think there was okay,
Right.
but the only thing I really didn't like about the character, as far as her becoming Black
role.
Panther and
Oh.
therefore the Queen, is this. This is the problem I really have with it. I understand Chadwick wasn't the most entertaining T'Challa. However,
Mhm.
he was kingly.
he was.
Yeah.
He was royal. He
Regal.
was.
He
Yeah.
was royal. She is a spoiled little California brat who is extremely racist.
Yeah. That's
Well,
true.
it's not just that. Okoye to me was. I mean, she's a great warrior, but she's boring.
Well, Okoye is a
No,
different
it's
conversation. We're talking
M'Baku,
about
damn it.
Shuri. We're not
I
talking
want
about.
M'Baku.
Yeah.
Why
Oh,
can't
M'Baku
M'Baku
would
be
be
the Black Panther?
badass.
Well,
Absolutely, he should be Black
Actually, you
Panther.
know what? I'm gonna change my mind. Yeah, fucking Ubalku. Yeah.
Fuck
No,
yeah,
that.
dude.
Yeah.
Yeah, we all.
And he makes sense in the
He
way they set
does.
up the story. It would make sense for him to come take up
Yep.
the mantle.
That's right.
Because this is one of the few superheroes, Grimlock, that literally is a mantle. So here's where the argument makes sense.
Mhm.
Yes.
Yeah,
M'Baku would be really cool. Yeah.
that part of it, I don't have a problem with. But if T'Challa is not dead, I understand the whole snap and everything, and basically over the last couple of years, they've literally said none of that matters. Just recast them.
Okay.
Just go get some young kid, throw him a good offer, have him locked in for the next 10 or 15 years. This is not rocket scientist.
Well-
Feige, come on.
I'm like
You
Ubalku.
need to do one thing smart. You can figure this out.
Okay, let me let you guys off the hook a little bit, because here's the thing. This is a rumor, right? But in the rumor, it also talks about Shuri is definitely involved, and I don't think anyone here is surprised, right? However, they are talking about, the rumor also mentions Winston Duke, who is M'Baku, being the second Black Panther and not
I
Okoye.
like
I like him. He was badass.
He was awesome.
Yeah.
And it
Yeah.
makes sense. It makes sense. It's logical.
And he was the only other one who had that like presence, that
Yes.
imposing
Mhm.
character, regality. I think he would do a great job.
You know,
He's also one who went through like a character arc in that film,
mhm,
Yes.
mhm.
learning humility and learning, So no, I completely agree with this.
Yeah. And the problem with the Shuri character is that she's not that. She's smart, sure, she's capable, but she's not a leader. Whereas, say, I can't remember the actress's name, but the one that played the mother, right? That's a queenly lady, right?
Yeah.
She had a royal presence to her as well. But they just decided not to. They decided to make her just a bratty little racist California girl. I don't know why they did that. But I agree. I vote M'Baku. And Winston Duke, you're awesome, dude.
Plus, he's got a
Anyway,
great name, Baku. That's a
yeah,
cool
it is a cool name. And then they come down here, and I'll show the picture. This is the I think what the comic book and Twitter people want, but it sounds like that it might actually be M'Baku with Shuri instead, and I would agree. However, coming down here to Ironheart, uh, uh, uh,
Ooh.
Utuma, they don't talk about much in here anyway, so I don't know why. So we're not going to cover it. Ironheart, however, uh, she's coming, even though she's a horrible, horrible, horrible character. It just they I don't know. It was at the height of that nonsense, and they just made her a horrible villain character. I mean, you literally have a little girl who's a genius, fair enough, who steals tech from Tony Stark, and he's impressed by her, the fact that she does this, and she's so smart that he lets her keep this weapon. And of course, she's an incredibly villainous character, Riri Williams. Uh,
Which also negates 30 years of Iron Man's history, where he spent chasing down people trying to steal his
yep,
tech, knowing
right, all
Yes.
the frickin'
of,
time, and he just
Might
let
have
her
his whole
what it
have
would
it,
be
deal.
man.
like in unchecked hands.
Yeah,
Oh,
I
let's
know.
just give some random kid who stole my
Like
shit.
15-year-old. Here you go. Have
Exactly.
an
Now,
Iron Man suit.
this is the only thing to talk about in the article regarding that. In the comics, she's like a 14, 15-year-old kid, genius, right? And she's a thief and a criminal, and she's fascist and oppressive, and she's just horrible. She's horrible in every way. However, she was a little kid, 14, 15 years old. In this, Ironheart is a 25-year-old woman. That changes the character a lot just off the top.
Yeah.
So
I
I
don't
don't
like
know.
it, man. I don't
No,
have any problem with the idea of Ironheart. I like
no,
the name,
that's not the
but
problem.
they
No.
already established he has a daughter. Why would
Yeah,
you
we
not have
agree.
it be his daughter?
We agree. Yeah, no, just make his daughter the new Iron. You can call her Ironheart. We all agree with that, 100%.
Yeah.
But they're going Williams route. That's what they're doing, dude. It seems, and it's really
Character that
unfortunate because
nobody
she's
asked for.
well, yeah, and no
Literally
one
nobody.
likes because she's a horrible villainous character. It just isn't smart. Yeah, you're right, Thundero. They should go with a daughter taking over for her dad, and the whole idea of her trying to find a way to using the time device to get her dad back. Dude, it would be just print the money.
Yep.
But that's not where we're getting. We're getting
Nope.
angry, hateful, racist, villain, fascist Iron Girl is what we're getting. So
Well,
wonderful.
this is also I blame on Kevin Feige, because if he would have just told Robert Downey Jr. revealing Stark's identity, not a good idea. When you freaking kill off Stark, guess who you could have had take the suit, just like they did in the books? Oh, Rhodes, because he's right fucking there.
That's right.
But
That's
no,
right.
you had to go to Riri Land with your retarded fucking writing.
No, that was
So
that was the
I'm
worst.
starting to wonder if he's letting Tony Khan fucking do his long term planning.
I don't
It's
know,
like,
but that was the worst thing Marvel has done during all the kind of nonsense. Was that's a bad character, dude. It's a really bad character. And they took Captain Marvel, Miss Marvel, Carol Danvers, turned her into a villain too. Dragged along the character who started off, Miss Marvel Kamala Khan, started off kind of cool, made her a villain by being associated with the nonsense they were doing with Captain Marvel. I don't know, why did they do that? I understand that they want to push more female characters. Okay, fine. I understand they have to be strong feminist characters. Okay, fine. But why are they villains? How does that tie into your feminist ideal? I don't get it. It's
because
weird.
they're stupid.
Just terrible
Sim-
writers. That's what it is. Um, it's a shame too, because I typically don't even really have a problem with that idea. With
No.
I've been saying these characters need to die off and we need to move on. But if you're gonna move on to somebody who is by every metric a worse person in the way you write them, then please don't move on. Please don't move
Well,
on. Don't sully the name by bringing in that somebody who's shit. Please.
Well, and it's really unfortunate what they did in the comic book, particularly. I mean, Riri Williams is just ridiculous, and no one liked it. No one wanted anything to do with it. Captain Marvel or Miss Marvel is a completely different situation because she was quite a beloved character. I understand she isn't something that showed up all the time, but she was part of the lore and part of the storytelling. She's part of Sword, etc. And she was a really fun character. And taking Captain, Carol Danvers and bringing her more to the forefront and making her a bigger character could have been really cool. It could have been cool. I liked the character actually, but that's not what they gave us. They literally made her a villain, and I don't understand why. I just don't. You would think they would make her this ultra heroic, lovable thing because they want to sell it. I mean,
I don't know.
okay, but that's not what they. I just don't understand the thinking because I have far less trouble with the feminist aspect. I mean, shit, we've had feminist characters forever. It doesn't mean anything. But they're heroic, though. Wonder Woman's a freaking fine feminist icon, but she's a hero.
Right.
So I don't know.
Well,
Or a
and the worst
heroine.
part about it is they said that, they had Marvel and Feige, I believe, even said something to the effect that they wanted her to basically be their Superman, Captain Marvel.
Fine. That's fine.
Yeah, but that's not Superman. That's not how Superman behaves.
No.
I've never seen him
She's
behave like
horrible,
that.
dude. It's horrible. Yeah.
Power level, not personality wise.
That's what we're
Yeah,
saying
but-
is she used to have a cool, interesting personality that had seen some shit, and they turned her into a villain. Ben, I don't
Who?
understand.
Captain Marvel?
Yeah, Carol Danvers. Yeah,
Like in the comics or in the movies?
in the comics, in the movies, she was just annoying, and it was kind of, but that was also full of plot holes and not well written. But that's has nothing to do with the character per se. But in the comic books, they've made her a villain, dude. She's outrageous. She doesn't care. She's gonna do what she thinks is right, and she'll imprison people and beat people and murder people. It's fascist, dude. It's pure fascism. They've turned her into a fascist goddess. And it's like, what?
Oh, and don't forget she murdered Tony Stark, and nobody's checked her about it. And going on 10 years now.
Yeah, no, I know. They had done horrible things with Carol Danvers. It doesn't make any sense. And I don't mind her being a big power. I don't mind her being a feminist icon. There's nothing wrong with any of that. But why also? Because they do this, Ben. I don't know what it is. They keep wanting to have all these female characters, which is not necessarily a bad thing, right? Especially some of the new ones. But they're always evil, hateful, murderous. Why? Why? How do the two things connect? Please explain to my brain how a feminist hero and murderous, hateful, nasty, toxic go together. I don't understand the concept. You would think they would want to make them very heroic and lovable, so we love them.
Endearing.
Endearing, yes. I don't get it, dude. I really don't get it. It's confusing. And there are many of them. Look what they've been doing with the mutant stuff. Especially they took Hickman's stuff and my God, they bastardized that man's
perfect
work.
example of what you're talking about. You already mentioned her, but the first Wonder Woman movie is a perfect example of what you're talking about. She was fantastic in that movie from
Yeah, it was
beginning to
fun.
end.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And she's
I
a
don't know.
feminist icon, like I said.
Yes.
Yeah. It's just, it's a shame. And I don't know what they're going to do.
And now she's a rapist.
Yes. And now
she's a rapist. That was stupid.
Yeah.
But anyway, I got to move on from this. But this is warming on me though, because I do think it looks awesome.
I think it looks
Fun.
Yeah.
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 Could be good. Could be good. He does look a little too Hispanic to be Mayan, but I'll let that go because I understand why they're doing it.
They're probably.
I'm gonna be honest. He kind of looks like Mexican Hercules.
Yeah,
exactly.
And I'm kind of feeling in the movie he's not going to be as old as Namor is in the comic, right? Because he's old, right? I don't think he's. And they even have a thing at here at the Marvel hashtag Marvel Studios at Tenocuerta. So it's literally a Mayan name attached to a very Mexican name. Yeah, I don't know. It could be cool though. I like the look of it. Let's move on though, because this one right here, this is going to cause consternation. I guarantee.
Uh-oh. Taron Egerton, hopeful to play Wolverine for Marvel.
Ben?
I have no idea who this person is.
Ben.
What?
I do. What I need you to do is I need you to get in whatever vehicle you have. And I need you to get in an airplane. I need you to go to every city in America and yell at these idiots and tell them no. Radcliffe is the new Wolverine. No.
I mean, I've been on the Radcliffe bandwagon for a long time now, and it does. I mean, we don't know what they might have had conversations with Radcliffe. We just don't know, right? I mean, I don't know.
Well, the thing
I don't.
is, Egerton is talking about he's actually had conversations with Feige, dude. He's
Yeah, I
literally
know.
sat down. Yeah.
I know. I know. Um, I wish it wasn't Egerton. I wish it was Radcliffe. But but either way, it's going to be tough for whoever picks it up because they're going to be compared to Jackman. Jackman
Yep.
is by and large loved in that role, so it's going to be tough no matter who you go with.
Fair.
Um,
It's fair.
yeah.
But 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 but
But but
Radcliffe is a way better actor.
I agree.
Uh,
Yes.
I absolutely love the Kingsman, but he was the worst part of it
Yeah.
by far.
Especially the
Colin
first one. Yeah.
Farrell, was it Colin Farrell? No,
Colin Firth.
Colin Firth.
First.
Sorry, I knew it was a Colin. He was the movie. He was just
Yeah.
freaking awesome. I don't
Absolutely.
like Egerton. I don't like him.
He
And
could.
this
Well,
is look at him. Look how stupid he looks. His stupid face. Look at him.
well, it's another one of those things where they've been doing in Hollywood, and they've done it for a long time. But lately, it just seems, I don't know, maybe because I'm older, seems more egregious, where they use these really small men, and then they try to portray them as these, ultra alpha swagger type people or whatever,
Yeah, yeah.
and it just doesn't work. It
Well,
just
no,
doesn't.
because and that's why Chris Pratt
It's
sells it so well. He's a big buff
yes,
dude.
exactly, and he's
Um,
he's actually a pretty big guy. He's like
Yeah,
6'2".
Egerton can even grow a beard.
yeah, that's fair,
I
dude. I don't think he can. But Wolverine, of course, is an exception to that comment because he is literally a midget. But he's broad
well,
and
not literally, but he is very short.
he's very short, 5 foot, something like that.
Very
But
He's 5'5".
I
Five
think you're
two.
being generous. I think he's short. But he has such a presence. It doesn't. You don't even notice it. There's scenes where
Correct.
he's literally looking way up at various characters, talking to them, and they're about to get their ass kicked. You know it.
5'3". So
Yeah.
I was almost right. 5'3", but he weighed roughly 300 pounds of pure muscle. So if they can
Yeah.
find that guy, I'm
Yeah.
totally down.
Yeah. Yeah. But
300 pounds of muscle and adamantium. Thank you very much. Nothing pure muscle going on there.
yes, yes. I don't know what these people are saying. Egerton should be the next. Fuck off, dude.
Radcliffe would be great,
He would be a much
genuinely.
better choice, and who knows? There might be some unknown we don't know that would be even better. But as far as what we've talked about, Radcliffe is a way better choice, dude.
Yeah. Speaking by Radcliffe.
Yeah,
All I know is whoever they pick, he better have that damn cigar. He better have that damn
I
cigar.
hope
It's all
so.
I won't. I'll have nothing to do with it if they boycott the cigar because Marvel don't like cigars. I'll have
And
nothing to do with it.
and to be fair, Hugh Jackman didn't say bub anywhere near enough.
That's true. There should have been a lot more bub.
There should have been more bubs.
Yeah.
Yeah,
He
but
only said it a couple times, actually. I'm trying to think. It wasn't often where we got
I
bub.
remember once. I
Yeah.
remember once, but there might have been another. However, I just saw this and because we've been talking about it because it's coming. They have to do something. It sounds like we're getting Namor first, and they're doing a very different Namor, which could be fun, right? But I don't. What I want to do before we go into the last story and start screaming, because their rant
Uh-oh.
is incoming, by the way.
Uh-oh.
Okay, but here's the thing we've talked about this. We know that, and we've discussed here along with the chat that I think a lot of us would rather see the Fantastic Four done right first, but I don't know that we're going to get it.
No.
And maybe let the mutants sit a little. They're not. So now that we know Namor is the introduction of mutants, how do you think they're going to play it? What is Feige going to do? How is he going to put the mutants into this world he's created?
Well, the cheap and easy answer is multiverse shenanigans. But I really hope that isn't the answer. I hope they come up with something else. I'm just going to spitball. We got Namor, we got Atlantis, which is probably not going to be called that, but that's what it is. This Mayan thing, maybe Namor and the Atlanteans
Well,
show up for whatever reason, and them showing up, their technology triggers the X gene, and now we got mutants.
Well, maybe you could do what they did with Kamala Khan and do the whole Terrigen Mist thing, right?
Yeah.
You could do that. And I'm sure, just as a South American reference, they wouldn't call it Atlantis, they call it Atalan, but whatever.
Correct.
And they probably try to tie the Inhumans into it somehow, because I think they're going to really go off book here. I feel that they are. But how
They
about
almost have to. They
yeah, I
almost
think
have
they
to at
do.
this point.
But how about this? Instead of the multiverse thing, what about this?
Yeah.
The snap 5 year, they got a 5 year gap. The snap
Mhm.
and either had an effect, or after when the people came back, the snap had an effect on the people who went away, and some of them now are mutants.
I mean, it's not a bad idea, but that's kind of hand waving like the multiverse thing, right?
Right, but it doesn't
it's
mean that there aren't other mutants throughout time or something. It just means
Well,
that
there
we get a
definitely
we get a
are.
bloom of them, is what I meant.
Xavier existed, so there
Sure.
definitely are.
Yeah.
you know this isn't the dumbest Wolverine news. Did you hear the Russo brothers? Like one of them was talking about they want to see Chris Evans. They'd like to see Chris Evans as Wolverine. That is the
What?
dumbest.
No,
Okay,
How does that make
Grimlock,
sense?
you
that
need
is
to
easily the dumbest.
Grimlock, you need to take various baseball bats. I'll let you choose, and take yourself a ride down to Texas and deal with this man.
Can they be barbed wire baseball
Yes, I
bats?
think that would be best.
Because if we're gonna go to Texas, I have to honor Terry Funk
You do.
That's true.
You do.
That's
correctly.
true.
Terry
The
Funk
punker.
always needs the honoring. And what I saw
Right.
him in some kind of chocolate peanut butter, I don't know, some weird ass movie, but it was pretty good actually. It
Chocolate and
was
peanut
Shia
butter?
LaBeouf. No, it was a weird Shia LaBeouf movie my wife watched, and I watched it with her. Had Terry Funk in it. No, it wasn't
What
Terry
does
Funk.
chocolate and peanut
No, it
butter have
was
to do
Terry
with
Funk.
it?
It was a weird thing with his Down syndrome's kid, and
Okay.
it's not a bad little movie, and it's got wrestling in it. Anyway, Ben, no, stop it.
I didn't say I was for it. I'm just telling you what I read on an interview.
Chris Evans. You triggered me, sir.
It's
I
full triggered.
I meant to trigger you, so I'll
Okay,
take
that's
responsibility.
fine. That's fine. You know who I would love to play Wolverine would be fun. Would be the man himself, Mr. Foley, Mick Foley,
A young
a young
McFoley.
Mick Foley. It would be funny as hell, dude. I don't know why that came into my head. But anyway, I'm sorry. Back to how they're going to work it out. Go ahead, guys. No.
Told my side. I told
Hmm.
my idea.
Yeah.
Something to do with Namor and his civilization cause it. The snap idea isn't a bad one, especially since we've seen that apparently it has to some people caused some level of
Something.
changes to them. So it could very well become more so. You could even mix them together. That Namor's people show up and it causes more mutations because he's obviously already a mutant, but
Sure.
maybe I mean he's still human though effectively. So you could say that it could happen as long as the X gene or whatever
Well, I'm
reason
just
they
trying to
give.
think inside the cluster he's created.
The problem is even if we come up with something really, really, really creative, which the thing they should have done is reverse House of M. Uh, but even if we come up with something very creative, it's just gonna be multiverse stuff, man. It just is. I think everybody needs to just accept it now. It's gonna be something multiverse now. There's mutants. That's what it's gonna be. That's probably why they even did multiverse shit, just so they could get the mutants in because they knew they were coming. So they needed a reason why they weren't there, and that's what it'll be.
Grimlock?
Probably because, like I said, they spent the last 2 years basically saying the previous 10 didn't matter. So it's gonna be. It's either gonna be multiverse or it's gonna be some weird tech shit. It can't be the Terrigen Mist because the Terrigen Mist kills mutants. It doesn't create mutants.
Yeah, well, dude.
So,
MCU. Okay.
yeah,
Um,
they don't.
I know. You're being too correct. What are you doing? Yeah.
Doing what I do best.
Ben, you can give your opinion, but don't you trigger me.
Well, then I can't give my opinion. Censored.
What do you think, Ben? I mean, seriously, taking a look what they built, what's available, how are they going to squeeze the mutants in, dude?
So we got a lot of different, factors to involve here, right? And so, I think that the way that they could have done it, had it not been a hot fucking mess, was the kind of going with like the Inhumans route
Mm.
and the the stuff that they were doing with some of but the movie that they did was just a goddamn disaster, right? Um, so I don't know. It feels like the easiest like hand waving way would be multiverse stuff. Especially with all the shenanigans that have taken place recently around that, and that seems to be a really core aspect of the current phase that we're in. So I would say that that's probably not the most satisfying way, but that's the easiest way to do it in conjunction with the current storyline that they're focused on, right? Because doing it in any other way introduces more potential like storyline elements that they're not prepared for at this point in the phase that they're doing, right? And I think we have to take that into account that they are in the multiverse phase, and that seems to be a really big element of TV shows that they're doing and the movies that they're doing.
Yep. I just thought of an idea, something they could do to make it interesting if they are going to go generic multiverse. Um, when our boy Goblin showed up, he was very out of sorts to find out that basically he didn't really exist in this world. There was no Oscorp.
Right.
He even said somebody else was living in his house, something like that. Stuff like that. You could do that with it instead of just bam, they're here now. You could have a few of them be here now, and they're trying to figure out what the hell's going on. So Namor's the first one to show up, and the reason he's kind of villainous is because he's trying to figure out what the hell's going on, and he's pissed. Like he doesn't belong here. Who did this to him? Who brought him here? Why is he here? And then you could introduce like Wolverine per se, like he was working on his bike or something, and all of a sudden he was in the wrong place, and now he's been trying to figure it out. It's just an idea, right? It doesn't have to necessarily be Wolverine. It could be one of the other ones. But that if you're gonna do multiverse and not do it generic as possible, meaning they just show up and now they're here, that's what I would do. I would do an out of place take on it, like they did with Osborn in No Way Home. I think that would work very well, and it would be a much easier landing than just crashing these bitches in and be like, X-Men are here now. Hi guys, we're the X-Men. We're good guys. We're here to help. And there's like millions more like us, but they're not all good guys.
Yeah,
They've been around for a while.
it's it's troublesome. It is absolutely troublesome. And you're right, Adrian. Namor is an Asian. We know this. I don't know why the hell all of a sudden he's Mayan, but okay, whatever. You would think they would have took the opportunity to have
Yeah.
another Asian in the
Fine.
mix. But well, whatever. I'm not against it. But here, you're right. You have a huge problem because mutants are not a singular thing. They're not the X-Men. They're millions.
Right. Yes.
And it's a problem, dude. And I'm curious how they're going to fix it. And I probably said this before, but I'm going to say it again. I think they should stay well away from the X-Men for quite a while.
I do
I
too.
I agree.
think, I think they should do something around the Morlocks. I
Oh,
really think they should. Just give us these random mutants that the normies have no clue what they are, and just tell a story about the mutants themselves, and maybe have a couple characters shine through. But I just really think they should stay away from it, and there should be something that's connected it to where they're coming from, and these people are scared and they don't know what to do. Many of them have physical mutation, and they basically tried to hide from society, and thus brings you. We can go to New York. We can go to because Grimlock and I know right well. Underneath that city is a whole nother city. That's the
mhm.
truth. And you could have do the whole Morlock thing underneath the city, and it would make sense because these people. That's why I suggested that the snap has something to do with it because it's new. It's a new
Yeah.
phenomena, and these people are just scared and trying to hide, and maybe they're being hunted. Maybe do some take on the Marauders. They did that in the Old Man Logan or Logan movie. Those guys were
Right.
supposed to be the Marauders. Keep in mind. But you could do something similar with it. It's tough, dude. They've really painted themselves into a corner with the mutants, dude.
Well, the worst part is they kind of had, I obviously unintentionally because they didn't do it, but they had set up an easy out. with a reverse House of M that would have probably satisfied
That's
everybody.
true. Yeah, and they
And
Yeah.
then they
they
just
didn't bite it.
walked away from it.
Yeah, oh
Yep.
my water's boiling. I'll
And
be
the
back.
worst part is what's her name? Elizabeth Olsen. She
Mhm.
talked in interviews that she had been reading House of M. She had read those books. She had read other books, that Scarlet Witch was a big part of. But she really, really liked House of M, and she even implied that they were doing a take on it. And then they just didn't. They just didn't do that at all. And that's
Well,
such a shame, a missed opportunity.
once again, I blame Kevin Feige because he hired Jack Schaefer. We don't think that knowing comic lore is important to the movie when you're doing a comic book based movie.
That's dumb. That's
Yeah.
dumb. Dumb ideas. Dumb people
Yeah.
saying dumb things right there.
And not only that, I will keep reminding people. Not only did Kevin Feige let her do WandaVision, he let her do Black Widow too. You see how that worked out? Yeah. And keep twisting that blade.
It's a
Yeah,
shame.
I really wish that they didn't put the Illuminati in the Doctor Strange movie, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was a
Well,
mistake.
It was a waste.
Yeah.
A waste.
My hope for WandaVision would have been Wanda. Yeah, she could have still went crazy over all of that, but her crazy could have been part of. Well, it was what I would have liked would have been the big reveal of why she was going crazy is when she banished the mutants and then Thanos came, knowing knowing she sent what could have been a powerful ally away
Mm.
for her own ego.
That's a possible way to do it, but
That
that would take a lot
and
of rewriting. But no, the thing with Wanda, once again, I don't know why it was called Doctor Strange. It should have simply been Wanda or Scarlet Witch. I don't know why it was called Doctor Strange because it's not a Doctor Strange movie. It's a Scarlet Witch movie. But nevertheless, having her this absolutely insane, murderous thing is wonderful, actually. But the problem is it's inconsistent, right? Because she's crazy murdering everything at 1 second, and the next scene she's passive. What are you doing? She's out of her damn mind. Go with it. Just bite the bullet, dude. And they could have took that arc. They could have done various different things with her, but no, she's obsessed over these fake kids that aren't even hers. It's just a
Right.
weird
They're
choice. But
not
because
even real.
well, no, it's not even real. But think about what the options they had, right? Her brother is dead, right? Lots of bad shit has happened. Her love of her life is dead, right? There's plenty of motivation that her brain just screw it, right? But they screwed that movie up in so many ways, dude. But the point being is some of the worst stuff they did in that movie, other than just going with it, was one we should have never seen the Illuminati. And the whole and two, if you're going to introduce American Chavez, well, frickin' use her because she's just a MacGuffin. What are you doing? That movie is ridiculous, dude. It's ridiculous. And you're all right. They dropped the ball because that was their opportunity to introduce the mutants. You know the mutants are coming. We know that they have to do something, and I just don't know how they figure it out because to me they've painted themselves into a corner.
Oh, especially since not even they'll figure
I
something out,
agree
but it won't
completely,
be
Roger.
satisfying. That's the issue, right? The fact we know they're going to do something, obviously, but I would be hard pressed. It's going to be satisfying. I really think it's just going to be hand wave multiverse. There you go. That's
Maybe,
what you're going to get.
maybe, yeah. I don't know. But anyway, well, we got one more story left today, and it's rant
Uh oh.
worthy.
Uh oh.
You guys
Uh-oh.
ready?
No.
Do we need blood pressure medication?
Yes, well, you do. Nitrogen would be useful.
My
But
body is ready.
and and really, it's the headline that's triggered me. To be honest with you.
Uh oh.
But this is a problem, though. I don't know what they're going to do with the mutants, and well, we never know.
Neither do they.
I know Kevin has plans. I know he has plans. Maybe he'll work it out. But oh god, oh god, oh god. Okay, all right. Okay.
Uh oh. Black Adam villain revealed.
Okay. All right. Now, please read just so my brain understands that I'm not dyslexic all of a sudden. Please read the headline again.
Black Adam villain revealed.
Okay. Maybe I need a different voice. Grimlock, would you read that headline, please?
Black Adam villain revealed.
Oh, okay, all right. I
Official.
think I heard it very clear. That was concise, but maybe I need it from one of the libtards. Ben,
Not the villain in a movie, even though he's the villain in the comics.
Ben, Ben. That's not what I wanted, Ben.
Oh, ow.
But no, I mean, dude, Black Adam villain. He is the villain. He's Black Adam. You shits. What the hell, dude? I don't care if it's Dwayne Johnson. Dude, buy into that. I guarantee you Dwayne Johnson would love to play just a ruthless, horrible, murderous, venomous villain. I guarantee it. He would have the freaking time of his life, dude. Black Adam is a bad guy. He's not a good
Yes,
guy.
sir.
He's
Yes,
a
sir.
bad guy. Everything
Yes,
he
sir. Correct.
does is about selfishness. Yes, oh, he
Yes.
lost his wife. They don't that's not even the timeline anymore, by the way. It's not. He was abused, right?
Yes,
So
sir. Yes, sir.
no, because all
Yes,
his
sir.
motivations are selfish and self-motivated. He's a bad guy.
Correct. I agree with you. Can I talk you off the ledge real quick?
No.
Feed him
Okay,
some
go ahead.
copium.
Go ahead.
I think they mean villain as in antagonist. I don't think they mean that Adam is the hero. He is just in the term like literally, like or literarily. I think they mean antagonist, meaning who he's going to be against, not necessarily that he is a good guy.
Yeah, but I want him
I
to
don't think
be
they mean villain literally.
No.
If
I
that's what if
want
you see
him
what
to
I'm saying.
be the bad guy. I want
Well,
to
he still could
see
be.
Dwayne Johnson just ripping people's heads
He
off,
still could be.
absolutely unstoppable, and someone has to come in and back it up. That's what I want. That's Black Adam I want, dude.
Yes.
I want this
Think of it this way.
arrogant, toxic fucker having to get dealt with. That's what I want.
Think of it this way. The Joker movie. He
Yeah.
is absolutely the main character, the protagonist in the most literal sense of the word, but he is not the hero of that story by any means. He's a
He's,
bad guy.
oh, he is the
He's a
bad guy.
villain.
Yes, he's the
Yeah.
bad guy.
I think
The
that's
hero
what
of that
they're
movie is the
implying.
midget.
Yes, actually, he's the most noble character in the whole thing.
He is.
I think that's what they're implying. I think. Now, I could be totally wrong, but I think that's what they're implying because
Well,
The Rock has been fairly consistent that yes, it's Black Adam's movie, but he's being Black Adam. He loves the character. He's wanted to play him for 10 years now. Like, I genuinely think that this might be the time where he is being honest with his
Don't
audience.
don't don't huff the copium. Don't huff it. They're implying that he's not a villain. They're implying that he's a hero, Chad. They don't take the copium.
I won't take the copium. You can't make me. Would you like to see the antagonist though?
Let's see him.
I do love that term that's come up. This little meme term, copium. I think it's freaking hilarious,
It's
dude.
good. It's a good one.
But yeah, okay, it's Sabak.
Likes the box.
All right, whatever. But I'm sure it'll be fun. Dwayne he's always fun.
Yeah.
He's fun. I don't know if he's capable of doing something serious, but uh, but
Yeah.
uh, but he's fun. So um, Black Adam
Huh?
gets released on October 21st, also starring Aldous Hodge as Hawkman, Noah Centineo as Atom Smasher, interesting, Sarah Shahi as Adriana, Marwan Kenzari as Ishmael, sorry,
Ishmael.
Quintessa, Jesus, these names, Swindle as Cyclone, Bodhi Sabonguhi as Amon, the god, I guess, and Pierce Bronson as Dr. Fate. Sweet.
Which is the
Uh,
best casting I've ever heard in
That
movies.
is amazing
that is
casting.
good casting.
Yeah.
Nearly 5,000 years after he was bestowed with the almighty power of the ancient gods and imprisoned, just as quickly, Black Adam is freed from his earthly tomb, ready to unleash his unique form of justice on the modern world. Well, first of all, you shouldn't imprison him that quickly. He needs to have some time as king. It's
Yeah.
important to his character actually. But justice, there's no justice.
So
Well,
let me boot up my own tank of copium for you.
Yeah.
Um, so like remember like in the Deadpool movie, like that did really well. It was really fun, but he's definitely not a hero. They
No.
even make like a lot of efforts to like make that pretty clear. Like I'm not a hero, right?
No.
Our objectives align in that I'm stopping this asshole that I hate, but I'm not a hero, right?
mhm.
And I think that in regards to Sabak, who is definitely a hero that, or a villain that butts heads with like Dr. Fate as well.
Shazam. Yeah, sure, for
Yeah.
sure. Yeah.
And so it could be one of those things where their interests align in that they're like, yeah, this guy has to be stopped. But like at the end of it, like Black Adam's like, no, 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 no. I'm not a hero like you guys. Like I'm not out to do good. I will stop like assholes and kill them. But like I'm not trying to be a goody two shoes or something like that. And I even think there's like some lines in the trailers that I've seen that kind of line up with that mentality, right?
Yeah.
So I think that's kind of where they're maybe going. That he's at most an anti-hero, right? Sort of like a Punisher or something like that, right? But never going to be like a true like quote unquote hero.
I would rather see Sabak have to come and save the day.
Really?
Mm.
What?
Yep.
Wow! Did you hear that, Pandaro?
I did, and now that's a level of copium where he's gone past the copium and right into the absurdium. That's where he's at. He's
Yes.
in the absurdium.
Well, and just so you guys know who Sabak is, just like with Captain Marvel, he's empowered, and Shazam, the name Shazam, has all of the gods
Yep.
that are sharing various powers with him. Sabak is the same. I think
Right.
they listed it out here, maybe. Yeah. Satan, Belial, Beelzebub, Asmodeus, and Cratius are
Which,
what make up Sabak. All right, it's an
well,
anagram.
those are synonyms. They're the same name.
Yeah.
But okay.
I would rather see him have to save the world because Black Adam's a bad guy, and he should be. I want a
Yes, but
just
sometimes Black Adam's a good
steaming
king too.
arrogant level because
I
Dwayne
mean,
Johnson can do it. You know he can do
Oh,
it.
he's a prick. Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
yeah.
Sometimes Black Adam is a good king, though. In some of the storylines, occasionally he does make the right decisions for his people.
No, fair enough. It was the death of his wife that broke him.
Yes.
That is fair.
He's too Pandaro. Don't. He's literally arguing for the embodiment of the devil to be more of a hero than
He's just
Black
a very angry man who's grieving, Chester. Don't you understand his grief?
You
God.
should understand my grief because it hurts. And the chat
I
loves me. That's all I know. The chat loves me.
honestly think this movie's going to be good.
It
I
might be. Yeah,
genuinely do because
it
it's
might be.
it's got that weird thing going for it that a lot of the DC movies that have ended up being good is it shouldn't be good, but it was, and I think that's what's going to happen here.
The art style looks really good. Like what I've seen of like the. So I really like it when there's DC movies that don't fear color. And so like when I saw the trailer, sure he's wearing like black and gold, but it's still a very colorful trailer, and and the cinematography looks very rich. And so I just think that there's a lot of really good potential. And what I really enjoy is when you have an actor who really wants to play the role, right? They're not just looking at it as a job, but
Right.
there's something about the character. And like you said, Dwayne Johnson's been wanting to play this role for 10
Yeah, no,
years.
he has. Yeah, that's true.
And so I think that does nothing but work out well for the portrayal. Same with like Henry Cavill when he played Witcher, right? Like he wanted to play the Witcher. He was a fan of the Witcher. He read the
He's
books
good
and
at
stuff
it
like
too.
that.
Yeah.
He's really good at it, right? So I think enthusiasm has a lot to play with quality.
I thought there was a
Canada makes a
new
good point.
trailer, but I'm not seeing it.
Well,
I
there's one a
thought,
few weeks ago.
yeah, I saw that
Right
one
there.
though.
Yeah.
I'll play it
That
again
was
though
in
while you
Hindi.
guys
I would
talk.
have played the Hindi one. Captain Canada asked a very pertinent question in the chat. Wasn't Sabak the brother of Spock in Star Trek V? Yes.
Yes,
That was his name.
that's true.
Yeah.
That's correct.
Yes, but don't you cross the streams.
That's not a crossover they've done.
Egon
Please don't give him
told
an idea.
you. But yeah, no,
Look at
Doctor
that.
Fate,
Look
Pierce
at Bronson.
Bronson. Yeah,
Come
no,
on, bro.
you
That's
know he's
such
not.
a good casting.
Good casting, man.
Yeah,
Whoever thought of that and made that happen, they need a raise.
Yeah.
that is smart. But yeah, see, they're doing the thing with the kid, and where okay, let me tell you what I'm seeing here. I
Uh-huh.
much prefer the original storyline where he became king, and he was a just king. And his wife, the whole thing with the death of his wife and his obsession. It's very Mr. Freeze-esque story, right?
Tragic.
Where he wants to revive his wife. I much prefer that. The storyline is now that there's this wide-eyed kid that wants to, fight for freedom because the people in charge are absolutely monstrous in their slavery, and he has power, and he's going to try to fight against them. But Black Adam, actually, they try to trick you. He's not the kid; it's the actual brother or the father, and he
Mhm.
murders his son to steal the power. That's the take they're going on now, which is evil. Fair enough, but you've taken, and they show that in the trailer. Right? They just had it here a second ago. Let me play it again. But it's here he is. He's just, now in the comic, he killed the kid. And maybe he died some other reason. I don't know what they're doing with it in this movie, but it does make him evil. Fair enough. But I just, I don't know why they had to change the story. All right, fine.
Well, they do that a lot with some of these characters, but as long as he ends up as him, I'm okay with it. As long as the motivation at least makes some kind of sense when they change it, it's not that necessarily that terrible.
Why is Hawkman black now?
He has been for a little while.
Why?
I don't know.
It's Egypt.
What does Egypt have to do with black people?
You
Forgot.
tell me.
I don't know. I know the Nubians were certainly part of the military,
Yeah.
and they had off and on good and bad relations with the Kush, which are certainly black people.
Yeah, see, he's definitely killing people. Like, there's no doubt. He's ending lives.
Yeah, but they got these two comic reliefs in here. And it's like heroes don't kill. Let's roll up the window. That's gonna save us. Heroes don't kill. So it's like it's almost teaching the robot not to be murderous.
But that's just how comic movies have been,
Yeah,
right?
no, I know, I know, I know. I just really wanted a dark, really super dark Black Adam, dude. I mean, I'm joking, right? I'm sure it'll be fun. Dwayne is always fun. He's always fun.
Yeah.
It's just the way it is. It's Dwayne Johnson, dude. And I'm sure I'll enjoy it. But I just really wanted a dark, dark, brutally dark Black Adam, dude. I wanted to take
The
Levy out of
problem is
his comedic stuff, have him against Black Adam, and have it become real serious real quick.
that's the problem, right? Is they have Shazam, which I hate that name, but they have him, and uh The Rock has been one of the main voices trying to keep Henry Cavill as Superman because
Yeah.
he wants Black Adam versus Superman, and he wants Cavill because he is Superman to be
Well,
Superman.
well, Dwayne said that Henry Cavill's in the movie.
Yeah. So my point is that's why you're probably not going to get that dark of a tone because they have to tie those together, and they can't do that. I think pretty much everybody doesn't want dark, edgy Superman again. I hope. I think we've had our fill, hopefully, as an audience. Can we please have wholesome, hopeful Superman again? Please.
Well, you know what's
And
going to happen.
Henry deserves to get that for all the shit that company has put him through just because he wanted to play Superman and do other things. He deserves to get the proper Superman iteration since 1978 or whenever the first, I think it was 78, 77, whatever it was. He deserves it. He's been through a lot because that company constantly is shitting in his mouth. They literally announced they were going to do a new Superman movie without him on his birthday. Like, come on, bro.
Oh,
They
the
knew
Black
what they were
Superman
doing.
nonsense. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's stupid. Yeah, and of course, don't even get me on Ta-Nehisi Coates again. But no, I agree. But you know what it's going to be. It's going to be a mid-credit scene, and Black Adam is standing amongst destruction, and Henry Cavill is floating over him like, okay, all right then,
Like,
you asked
whoa.
for it. That's what it's
Oh,
going to be.
bro. Yeah. No, I do want to see that. Give
Yeah,
me
so do
yes.
I.
I
Yeah,
would
so
love
do
if it's a good version of Black Adam, even if it's not perfect, as long as it's real good. You give me Cavill Superman versus him. I'm in. You can throw Shazam in there too, I guess, if you have to. Let's see it. Let's see that brawl. I'm down.
Do you see they have Martian
Down.
Manhunter too, right?
Oh.
They're throwing the kitchen sink in this movie, dude. They really are.
I like it.
Yeah.
I like it.
But no, I would love to see a good throwdown between
Now
Black
the
Adam and Superman.
question is,
Yeah.
how powerful do they make Dr. Fate? Because he's Dr. Fate and he's basically all powerful. How powerful is he going to be in this movie?
Well, he's literally playing one of the pillars of magic, right?
Yeah.
The helmet is anyway. I don't know. They neutered the hell out of Doctor Strange, dude, so I don't know what DC will do. But however, um, the thing with seeing Henry Cavill going against him, though, is I you just I'm a little bit confused also because we're talking about Henry Cavill versus Dwayne Johnson's Black Adam, and we want it, but what are they going to do with Levy? I mean,
Oh.
how's he going to play into this? Because
I've said for a long time, if they're going to keep Henry around and they're going to keep Batson as Batson, meaning a young man,
yeah,
he needs to be mentoring Batson. That's how they need to play those two together.
that
Just
would be
let him
good.
mentor him,
Yeah,
and then that can have Black Adam show up and beat the living piss out of Shazam,
yeah.
and that's what. There you go. That's
Well,
all you need.
and
You
they
don't
already
need
set
some
it up.
great convoluted plot. That's it.
They set it up, by the way. They did,
Yep.
because he did come to
Yep.
his school, right?
Yep.
So they did set it up. And that would be great. And yes, Black Adam just kicking the piss out of him and Superman having to come to deal with it. But I just think this thing is going to be way, way jokey and goofy. Let's have a go low fun time with Black Adam. It's not
But
what I
in
want.
fairness to our boy Dwayne, most of his movies aren't like that. They'll have their comedic bits here or there, but
Mhm.
they're still moderately serious, even if they're ridiculous. Like the Fast and Furious movies. The overall tone of them is still not comedy. So I don't know. I honestly don't know what we're gonna get from it, but I do have a feeling it's gonna be pretty good. I just have a feeling. It's another one of them feelings, Chester, and when I make that prediction, I have yet to be wrong.
Okay. Ben, write that down, and you're going to chastise him when he's wrong.
Oh, he definitely will. He'll
Yeah.
remember. Don't worry.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
I've already written in my personal journal for the month.
Thank you. That's good. But oh well. I like I said, I'm half joking. I'm sure I'll enjoy the movie because once again, Dwayne Johnson, he's just fun, dude.
Yeah.
Even if the movie sucks, he's going to be entertaining. It's just the reality of the dude. I mean, he's the Rock. I mean, and we smell what he's cooking. We do.
You always have.
Yeah, and he's not this. It's interesting. He's not the greatest actor. He's not this or that, but he's just fun. So I'm sure it will be a good fun movie. It's just not what I wanted. I wanted,
Yeah,
yeah,
I mean he's the modern day Schwarzenegger, right? I
he
mean
is.
that's what Rock is,
He
and
is. Yeah.
Schwarzenegger had his own limitations, but he was always entertaining and charming to watch, right?
Hmm.
And if you gave him the right material, like, he could act, right? And I think Johnson is a better actor than Schwarzenegger,
I would agree.
and he has as much, if not more, the work ethic than Schwarzenegger does. Like, I mean, that's what it really came down to. Like his beef with Vin Diesel and why their partnership kind of fell apart is because Vin Diesel apparently really doesn't have much of a work ethic. He's constantly like showing up late to the sets and stuff like that. And The Rock is like one of those guys who's like, listen, these are people's jobs. It's it relies on us being here on time, ready to go. So if it's a 5 a.m. shoot, he's there at 5 a.m. ready to go, like all like muscled up and stuff like that. So,
Well,
um,
he does oil the left pectoral at precisely 6:18.
right, you got to give it like a 90-degree rotation when you're putting the oil on, and you got to do it in counterclockwise for the other
That's right.
breast. So that's just how he
True.
operates.
It is
Got to
true.
get
It's
that
called
light
a
to shine
peck,
just
but
right.
okay.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah, yeah. But I agree with what you said as far as Schwarzenegger versus Johnson. I think in general he is a better actor. However, there was a movie that Arnold did that does it deserve mention. What was it called? Was it Mandy? No, that's Cage. Maggie.
Mandy.
Maggie.
Oh, with the
Um,
zombie dog.
yes,
Yeah.
dude, that was wow. Arnold can act.
No, he can. He absolutely can. He's done other stuff. There was that one where he was playing the weightlifter, and Jeff Bridges was in it, and it was about no. He's done a couple like really good things.
Yeah, his comedy's pretty good too. But I agree though. I think Dwayne is a better actor. And just Dwayne has more. He has more experience because he was a wrestler, and that's
Yeah, especially with
doing
physical
promos and stuff.
acting.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Stay Hungry. That's the name of the movie. Stay Hungry.
Stay
Yeah.
hungry. There you go.
Yeah.
But whatever. I'm sure it'll be fine. But once again, you guys haven't answered my question though. Well, you
Uh-oh.
did kind of with him getting the piss kicked out of him. What are they going to do with Levy? I mean, we do have a Shazam 2 movie coming, right?
Yep. And Black Adam is not the antagonist in that movie, confirmed. So I
Okay.
don't know. We'll see.
Because that first movie, I didn't mind Levy in that role. I thought he portrayed a kid that had become, a god, a
Oh God.
magical god. I thought he
Yep.
portrayed it pretty well. I didn't mind it. The problem with that movie was the, third act, really.
Well, my problem with that movie is that I really enjoyed Levy's portrayal of the kid,
Mm.
except for the fact that it didn't match up with the way the kid actor was portraying the kid, and so it was like two completely different characters.
That was a
Mm.
problem, but that's kid actors in general. I agree. I agree. But
Well, no, kid actors. The problem with the director, like if you're watching this and you're like, oh, like these two performances do not match up like whatsoever. Like we need
right.
to like calibrate, right?
What I meant is that when you hire a kid actor, you're hiring a kid that fits the character you want. You're not
Right.
hiring a kid to do acting. That's not what you're doing. You're
No,
hiring a kid that is the thing you want. And so the casting director was really the error.
Um, but I will agree it was a fun film,
It
and
was. Yeah.
it was really good for the whole, especially the whole part of like the montage, like the figuring out the powers and
Yeah, it
done
was
kind of
great. Yeah.
yeah.
But
So
they pulled the trigger on the Marvel family way too soon. Way too soon.
oh, yeah, wait.
The villain sucked balls. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
you know. But anyway, that's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is I don't mind Levy as Billy Batson. I don't
Captain
mind him.
Marvel. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't mind him in that. But I just don't know where they're going to go with it. Because we're getting a Black Adam movie before we get Shazam 2. We haven't seen Shazam come and kind of cross over with anything anywhere. No cameos, no nothing, right? And I do know that Hollywood is not pleased with him right now. They're quite angry because he said the word God.
Oh, that bastard! How dare he?
Yeah. And it's so stupid. I mean, if you go read that story where he's talking during the interview and he just opens up, it's heartwarming. His faith got him through a hard time. Why is
Good.
that a problem,
That's what
dude?
it's for.
Because
That's what it's for.
I'm not one of the faithful either.
No.
Right. No, I think it's a blind spot on the left that they get. And again, I'm an atheist, and I honestly I hate religion and I hate all that stuff. But I don't have a problem with it when people bring it up in that form. And I have a problem with it when they're forcing it on people, and
Yeah,
when it's like a lot
opposite.
more, forceful in that regard. So, but no, I think it's a problem that the
Well, I'm
left
glad
has.
to hear you finally speak out against Islam, Ben. Thank you.
Yeah,
Yeah,
through all that.
yeah, yeah, absolutely. But I don't know. We'll see. But I don't know. I kind of feel it's almost like they shelved Levy. Is kind of the feeling I'm getting because even though that third act was an abomination, it was popular though. People liked it. It made money, right? Am I misremembering?
I think it made money. Hold on, let me check Box Office Mojo because I think
I
it
think it was around 400 million, if I remember right, somewhere in that ballpark.
366. It was kind of pricey too.
Yeah.
So, but it made money, but it might not have made enough considering 360
Okay.
for 366, and that's worldwide. That's not domestic. I mean, you could argue it kind of bombed, like 140 domestic for that.
Oh wow, that is low. That is
Yeah,
low.
that
Yeah,
yeah.
And
maybe that's
I'll
why.
say right
Okay.
now, I'll tell you why it is. It's 'cause it's called fucking Shazam, and that's a stupid word. It's
Fair
fine
enough.
as a comic book word of power, but it's a terrible title for anything. It just is. Like,
They can't do Captain Marvel because
yeah,
Disney did that,
just
right?
call him Champion or call him Captain Wonder or just something, just anything. Come
Fucking
up with
like
any other
all
name.
nerds are gonna like be pissed because they're like, well, that's not his name. They should just call him Shazam, right? So it's
Well,
like it's this learning loop.
nerds and being pissed off is kind of a state of life.
Yes, that's right.
That's true.
Yes.
No, I think entirely they need to just
Look where
completely
you
rename
are.
that character.
I know. I mean, I was gonna say that's what this entire like channel's all about.
That's right.
They should entirely rename that. I think just full stop. If they won't fight for the Captain Marvel name again, fine, whatever. I think it's dumb that they lost it, but whatever. Um, they should just rename that character. Shazam is a terrible name. Terrible. It's horrible. It doesn't sound good. It's fine to be part of his lore and his word of power. That's all fine, which is what it was. But it's a terrible name for a character, just like from a marketing standpoint. You can't market it. It's bad. And that's one of the reasons I think it didn't do very well. I think it's a major reason. That's very important in these movies and in these characters is how they sound, how they come across, just surface level. Because a lot of people, that's all they know. Like Grimlock said it earlier, most of these people aren't reading comic books. They don't know that they don't know anything about these characters. They're not drawn to it because of that. They're drawn to it because it sounds cool. And Shazam
Right.
doesn't sound cool. It sounds stupid. It sounds like a product. What's his name? Billy Mays would have sold you late at night on a Friday when you were up too late because you were eating Cheetos and your stomach was upset, and then you turn on the infomercial and bam, I got Shazam for you. That's what it sounds
Well,
like. It doesn't sound like a
We
superhero.
do have a sequel in the works though, Shazam and
I
Fury of
know.
the Gods.
Yeah,
So
Yep.
it's
sure
weird.
we are.
But I don't think it's a good idea. But you could go with the Commission word for magic, Ketet.
It would that might be better, but honestly, I think in the movies, especially, they should just call him Champion, and then
Yeah,
Superman can just call him Champ because he's a kid. It works. It
yeah,
works
that's not a bad
beautifully.
idea. Yeah, but too
It's
late.
it's everybody would get it immediately, especially since he's literally the champion of the gods. That's what he is. So I just don't see any good reason not to do that,
Also,
other than
Just
yeah, they got a behind the scene clip. They're like actually filming and having a good time.
yeah,
yeah,
no, yeah,
no, they're making
sure.
it right now. Yeah, 100%. It's coming.
Yeah.
And it's like, they're not
Um,
gonna in him. Like they're making another movie. Like it's full on production.
Yeah, no, I know. I'm just asking, what is it you think they're going to do with him?
Oh, I don't. I mean, like I don't know. There's, the problem is like especially with Shazam and all that stuff, and especially now that we got Black Adam, and with the DC universe being a lot more like open, it feels like they're kind of abandoning like the DCU stuff, and they're like, okay, we're just going to kind of go back to like making like a bit more hodgepodge, which is fine. There's nothing wrong with that,
Sure.
right? I think they were overly obsessed with trying to do the cinematic universe, and the problem was that they were unwilling to put in the groundwork to work their way up to like where Marvel was,
True.
and instead they wanted to just be like, oh no, we're at the same spot, like having done like 3 films or 2 films or something like that.
Yeah,
So
we know whose fault this is, and Hamada is out. We know he's out, and Zaslav
Right.
is going to he's going to have to find someone to right that ship. So, but that's another reason why I asked the question because we know they're going more hodgepodge, right?
no, hodgepodge is fine, especially with this stuff. And I think if you have like a loose tie-in with Black Adam, so let's say like there's a little like Shazam in like Black Adam at some place, like at the end, right? And then you got some like Black Adam presence in Fury of the Gods or something like that. But then we also got a little bit of like Superman, like that opens a lot of interesting doors for them to do, and I think that could be some really fun stuff. Because again, and this is the problem that they've always had with like Superman is who do you challenge him with? And Black Adam's a great character to challenge Superman because he can actually be damaged by Black Adam. The whole magic thing is an area that they were always too afraid to do with Superman in a lot of his movies. They're like, oh, he's a sci-fi character. You can't really have magic in him. Bullshit. Like, bring that shit in there this is the great venue to do that. And then you're like, oh shit, magic like can actually hurt Superman. Like his invulnerability isn't like fully effective against it. And now there's a lot more skin in the game for him.
That's right. And it would that was a what you're saying. It was a great plot of Kingdom Come, which is an amazing book.
Oh,
And Lex
yeah,
Luthor brainwashing adult Billy Batson to deal with Superman.
yeah,
It's brilliant. Yeah.
I've said it on here multiple times. I think what they should do with Superman and with whatever you want to call him, Shazam, is they should bring them together and give a long run of him being his mentor, and then have Batson mentoring him in how to resist magic. Don't give him like magical powers or anything, just basic resistance to it, so he can be a little bit more durable against it, and then
sure.
have it be against one of the big magic bads, doesn't matter who, really. And there you go. You could do a whole year or two with that storyline. It's perfect. Batson already looks up to Superman, like everybody does. He already looks up to Superman. Superman already knows who he is or whatever and thinks
Mhm.
he's special.
And they've
It's
canonized
perfect.
that.
Yep. There's
Yeah.
no reason not to do this. And then you can rename the damn character. You see, we can
This-
give him some other name.
There's
For
your
Christ's
point.
sake.
There's your point. I get it. Yeah.
Hey, you know that blood pressure thing? I think Thundero needs it more than
Yes,
you, Chad.
probably true. Yeah. Because, well, sure. I'm just joking anyway. We'll see. I really, I try to at least one of the show a week, just have fun, and other one we're a little more serious. But in all honesty, though, and we've said this before, and I know a lot of you in the chat agree, we want Marvel and DC to be badass. We want it to be
That's right.
awesome. That's what we want. This isn't like, oh, get it out of here, no, 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 no. We want badass, freaking awesome DC comic movies. We want awesome Marvel, and to be fair, we got a lot of really good Marvel stuff, and maybe we're a bit spoiled. Maybe that's the problem because we got a lot of fun out of the MCU for a decade. What, 20
Yeah.
movies? Good fun, dude.
Yeah.
Good fun. And now they're trying different things that they're clearly got themselves in a corner, which they did to themselves. They can't find themselves a new Tony Stark to take up that mantle. They're having problems right now. Fair enough.
Yep.
And then of course, when you also slide in, and I know in some of these Marvel stuff is more woke than others, and we know that it's kind of a veneer on it in general, but it's not as bad, right? As it could be. It's not as bad as the comics for damn sure. But for instance, Captain Marvel movie. It's not a good movie. It's full of plot holes. She's insufferable. But if you sit back and look at it, there's not a lot of woke in that movie, really. It's very little.
I think the
It's
most
just
of it, or the worst version of it, was even cut out. Like it's in an extended scene or something.
maybe, yeah. But I'm
Yeah.
just saying it does have some, and it's mainly she's just insufferable.
But
But it's
it's
not.
just it's real minimal, right?
It
Like
is, yeah.
and I think the primary problem is just miscasting. I think if you would have had a Blake Lively in that role, totally different film, totally different feel, and people would have enjoyed it a lot. I think part of the problem is I did not like Brie Larson in that, and I think she was kind of a miscast, a misstep with like the rest of the crew and stuff like that, right? And
Yeah.
so
I think Feige wanted to bang her. I think
Well,
that's part of
we've
it.
kind of come to that assumption. But no, I agree. And the people who've worked her that don't like her, and we're talking about like Don Cheadle. You can't get
Look,
more woke than him. He's super
yeah,
left, right? And he can't stand the woman. But you're right. And it's also, if you're going to go with someone who looks that old, just bring in Emily Blunt, dude.
yeah,
I mean, what are you
yeah,
thinking?
she would have been a good cast. I think the real problem isn't like for that film, like it isn't any of the woke stuff. Again, it's just like Brie Larson. Like I remember watching an interview that they were doing. I think it was for like Infinity War, right? And they do all this like they pair up people with a bunch of people, right? And they want to do these like group interviews. She was doing an interview with Chris Hemsworth. You can't get any more charming than Chris Hemsworth. He's just a nice guy. Every
Yeah,
every
sure.
report is a nice guy. And so they're like, oh, who's your favorite Marvel hero, right? And they're just looking for like easy. It's such a softball interview. Like you have to be dumb to fail this kind of an interview, right?
Sure.
And so like Chris Hemsworth just goes like, oh, my favorite Marvel character is Captain Marvel because Brie Larson's my best friend. And she
Aw.
looked at him with this like fuck you face, like I don't know you. How are we best friends? And I just like I'm almost screaming at the like screen like
Yeah.
it's just a fucking interview. Like stop
well,
being dumb.
because they're they're shilling the movie and she's not. That's what, and we see this
Right.
happen quite a bit with some of these idiots.
They
But
like, and the thing was, he's just being nice. He's being charming. He's being nice, and she's being like overly aggressive and like overly confrontational because it doesn't mean anything. He's not like hitting on her. Like I don't. Maybe that's what she was assuming. It's just stupid. But
That's
it's still
She was
probably
being a
right.
bitch. Just
Yeah.
no, she was being a bitch. She is a bitch.
you're being nice about it, but she was being a bitch.
Yeah, she is that way, and
And
clearly
Well,
he.
especially to
see,
Chris, right? Because Chris is
there was a
like you said,
time where we
he's
could
like
just
that.
Sean Connery a bitch when they act like that, but nowadays,
I don't.
hey,
But I think the point I'm trying to make is that sure, there is certainly politics in certainly more so the new stuff than the older stuff as far as this progressive stuff that's going on. But I'm also trying to I don't know, level it or balance it or bring some equilibrium to the conversation because I think everyone's just super sensitive, right? And
Oh yeah.
I know it's happened to me too. I just watched all the June, of course, we get all our new video game stuff, and I saw a bunch. And every time I saw some female or black character, I cringed. And
Yeah.
why should I? They could be great characters, but it's just because I know that there's a high chance that they were done that way simply because we need more of this representation or that. And we're just become very sensitive to it. Because if you look, I don't think that any of this nonsense on Disney Plus is any good. But the reason I don't like it has less to do with the wokeness and more to do with the writing. The only one that really pissed me off with the wokeness was Loki. Right?
Yeah.
The other stuff it wasn't really that bad. I mean, people got really mad about the Falcon and the Winter Soldier. And yeah, it had, cops are racist bullshit, which you shouldn't have had it in there. But in general, it wasn't that much about it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I just think we need to couch ourselves a little bit and not get too caught up in it because it's clickbait, dude.
Outrage marketing.
Yeah.
No, you're right though. Outrage marketing is a serious problem. I get outraged at the outrage marketing, Chester.
Yes, I know.
I am to the point now where
I've
it's
experienced
so obvious what they're doing. It's so obvious what they're doing that it pisses me off that it used to manipulate me so easily.
Yeah.
Because it's so obvious on its face. Like, oh, I know you. Because it's almost never the case. It's almost never the case. Oh no, I'm a lot more mellow than I used to be. It's almost never the case.
You more mellow?
Ben,
Yeah.
Ben, don't even bring it up.
Holy fuck. Holy fuck.
But like you said with the Captain Marvel movie, right? If you watch the marketing for that movie, pretty much everybody was saying, listen, we don't need no straight white men to watch our movie. That's what she said it, a whole bunch of the other like people said it who made the movie.
Yeah.
It was just like constant attack on fuck white men all the time coming out of their mouths. And then a whole bunch of white men were like, okay, well then I won't go see it. And then they did a 180. Whoa, no, we want you to come see it.
That's
studio did the 180.
Different conversation though. That is actors and actresses speaking when they should shut their damn mouth.
Yes. But we didn't hear it from them directly because none of us give a shit what they say. I'm not out here following Brie Larson's Instagram or whatever the fuck. We heard it from other places that amplified it and turned it into something more than it was going to be. That's the outrage marketing aspect of it.
Yeah, but she is unique though because she's particularly loathsome.
Venomous.
She's
venomous.
And again, I'm the libtard of the group, and even I don't like her. Right,
well, because she's unlikable. But you know what I'm saying. There clearly is some veneer on it, obviously, but it's not as bad as that necessarily. And people are super sensitive, and they certainly are making decisions because we got to have this one of each color. We know they're doing that. It's this quota that they've this list they've put together in Hollywood somehow. But we know they're doing it, but it is a veneer because when you get into the meat of it, it's less so. Like with Moon Knight, clearly, why didn't you just call that the Scarlet Scaber? Damn it, I can never say that word. Scarab. Why didn't you just make that? Because that's what you wanted to make. And why didn't you leave Moon Knight alone? Mark Spector does not deserve what you did to him.
True.
I mean, it's just they don't want to pull the trigger, and in a way, it seems sexist to me, right? If you go, I mean, we're talking about actual sexism, right? Because let's go back a little bit to a movie that was all right, Ant-Man and the Wasp, right? That's not an Ant-Man
Yep.
movie at all. That's a Wasp movie. And why the hell can't Wasp have her own movie? I like Angelina. I think her name's Angelina Lilly, right? I thought
Evangeline.
Evangeline.
whatever it is, the Lily
Yep.
lady. I thought she's fine as that particular Wasp. I had no problem with it. So why are you backing it up with Ant-Man? Where are your balls, Feige? Just call it the Wasp. What the hell's wrong with you, dude? And they do
I
this a
would,
lot, right? And here's the thing: if we got a Scarlet Scarab movie, right, and maybe we had a Mark Spector cameo in it, and introducing a character people don't know as a new character, would anybody here have minded? It would have been better, I guarantee you that.
yeah, could be good,
Because
especially considering they're not opposed to doing obscure. Like
yeah,
for fuck's sake, they made a
I
whole
know.
Eternals movie and
They
actually
made
spent money on
Guardians
the
of the
cast.
Galaxy. You don't get much more
Yeah,
obscure than that, dude.
yeah,
But I mean, it would have
exactly.
been way better because Ethan Hawke was freaking awesome. Let's just be
Yeah,
fair,
he deserved
right?
better.
He was
Uh,
Yeah, he deserved better. You know what they could do? This is completely off topic of that, but we're talking about they're bringing in the X-Men, right? We know they're going to bring in the X-Men. It's obviously coming very
eventually,
sooner
yeah.
rather than later. And Fantastic Four is going to happen eventually. If they're going to keep Krasinski along, why not have his wife just be Sue? Emily Blunt's his wife. That's who he's married to. Why not?
Yeah.
If they're going to have Krasinski be Reed, let Emily be Sue.
Yeah, and
That
they're
could
going
work.
older anyway. Yeah,
Yeah.
sure. Why not? Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I do like Emily, and mainly
Oh,
the
so do I.
reason. Well, no, the reason I like her is because she's one of the few Hollywood starlets these days. Even though I know she's getting older, but she's one of the few Hollywood starlets that can actually sell action.
Yeah, she's a good actress.
Yeah,
Very.
because a lot of these little scrawny things can't sell action at all, um, and she can, and I don't know that she's necessarily any bigger or physically or anything like that. She just knows how to sell it. It's like who was the that pretty good actress from Battlestar Galactica that played Starbuck? What's her name?
Katie Sackhoff.
Yeah,
yeah,
now
Kate Sackhoff.
she's not a big girl, but she pulls off action quite well.
Yep. Yep. There's a way to make it believable, and there's a way to
Sure.
not. And very often Hollywood goes with the not, and it just turns. I can't suspend my disbelief, and I'm just like, okay, okay.
You know,
And they do it, but they also do it. Like I was talking about the real little guys. They do it with them too. Like I'm
yeah, no,
sorry,
it's
but a
worse
5'4",
actually. It's worse.
120-pound dude is not beating up a 6'4", 300-pound muscle man by standing there and boxing him. That's just not gonna. You're gonna get destroyed in that
Yeah,
situation 9 times out of 10.
it is a weird trend.
So
Yeah.
yeah, I don't like that either. I don't like it either way. It's not even about for me the sex. It's just it has to. You have to give me a reason to believe that person could
Well,
beat that person. I've
well,
been in a fight.
I
I
was,
know what happens.
well, no, I mentioned Emily Blunt because we were talking about women.
Yeah,
But no, it isn't a gendered thing at all. Can the
yeah,
actor sell action? Because
right.
not all can,
That's true.
right? Can they sell the action? And it doesn't matter if it's a man or woman, and it doesn't matter even their size. I understand your point. You are right, but you can have a
Mhm.
small dude pull off action quite well.
Absolutely. I think
Tom
Uh,
Tom
Cruise.
Cruise
you
does
know,
a good job of
Jackie
it.
Chan, anybody?
Yep, yep.
So it's
I
about
think
being
Tom
able to
does a
sell
good
it.
job of it. Tom Cruise in the Mission Impossible movies. I think
He's a
he
little
looks
dude
fine.
too, and he pulls it off really
Yep,
well. And now
yep.
to go back to the first thing we talked about at the beginning of today with the terminal list, dude, some of the action scenes in that are really good. A
Oh,
really, really
yeah.
solid action scenes, dude. And it's clear to me that Chris has gone and trained very hard with a tactical team. Clearly, he did that. Like
Yeah,
Keanu did. Keanu went and trained with tactical guys, cops and things like that to kind of get his gung fu down. Chris
yeah.
did that too, but Chris is his is very crisp, sharp, and very professional looking. Whereas Keanu's is more fantastical, which is what John Wick needs, right?
Yes.
Or even in the
Keanu's
Matrix.
a damn good shot, though. Have you ever watched any of his videos on the range, on the course?
Yeah,
Woo!
well, he trains. He
Woo!
takes it serious. He works hard. And I'm just saying, I
Yeah.
haven't seen any videos on Chris Pratt doing the same, but when you watch that series, clearly he has.
Yeah.
He put the time in. That guy took this
He's
very
really good in
seriously.
Tomorrow War too. He's believable
Yeah,
100%
he
when
is.
he's carrying around his
He's
firearm.
trained. Yeah,
Yeah.
for
Yep.
sure. And there's a couple ladies in that sell it really well too in that series.
Yep.
So anyway, old ground. But I'm just concerned though when it comes to hero movies from Marvel and DC. They're just not bringing the A game right now, dude. They're just not. The best thing we've seen is the Batman,
That
and
was good.
it was. And honestly, the Pattinson, and you and I both agree we think they're going to evolve the character as they go through the movies. But
Yes.
his portrayal as the Batman was the least interesting part of the movie. It was
Correct.
everything around it was so well done. But that's the best thing we've seen in quite a while.
He was
Ben,
actually a detective.
well, yeah, and that's great. I mean, I enjoyed it. It's a good movie. But Ben, what's the last superhero based movie that you really liked?
I mean, Far From Home was really good. I can't. I have a hard time not recommending that because that was a really fun film.
It's a good family film. I agree, 100%.
Yeah.
Grimlock, what do you think? What's the best? What's the best superhero last good movie you've seen?
Superhero movie?
Yeah,
Oh, because there hasn't been one recently. I haven't watched any of them recently.
yeah. I
See,
mean,
the
there's not
last.
many. There's not many. Yeah, I know. With
I'd have
Undero's
to
already
go back
said
to
his.
Infinity War.
I will add one to
Because
the list.
everything I haven't watched Batman or No Way Home yet, so that's why I'm not saying anything about them. So
You should watch
yeah,
them.
pretty much going
They're
that
both
far
fun
back.
in their own way. The
Mhm.
Spider-Man one is definitely a family movie. It's more take the kids than movie, but it's great fun. And the Batman's a pretty solid flick, dude. And
Yeah.
Colin Farrell is freaking epic.
Oh, I
Uh,
mean, there's Morbius.
Morbius. Well, see now. Everyone hated
I haven't
Morbius, but
watched
I
that yet.
actually rather liked it. I thought it was a good throwback to an old like 60s style sci-fi horror. I liked it actually. Uh,
No doubt.
I just like
I'm
the scene
figuring
with Matt Smith dancing around without his shirt on. That
I
sounded really
played that
homosexual,
multiple times just to bask in the ridiculousness of that
but
scene.
it's so absurd. I love it, and Matt
Yeah.
clearly loved it too. He's just having a great time.
Yeah, but
Oh
it
my
makes
god.
sense in the movie though why he's doing it.
I know it
Yeah,
makes total sense, like in context, but when you take it out of context, it looks
sure.
so
I get it.
ridiculous.
Yeah, I don't. I think Morbius has gotten way more hate than it deserves. That's an easy. I would even give that movie a 6. I would.
Oh
Well,
wow!
and I will say part of it is because of Jared Leto, because he's not a lead actor, and I wish they would stop trying to make him a lead
Fair.
actor.
You're right. That's fair. But he doesn't need to be a good actor in the way it's portrayed though. Because the only thing that really dropped the ball in that movie was the very, very last scene, and they should have done something different. It wasn't the right choice. But overall, the movie was fine. Another movie I'll throw in I thought was pretty good. I don't know if we consider this super recent, but Bloodshot.
Yeah, I
Vin
like
Diesel's
Bloodshot too.
Bloodshot was a good solid flick, dude.
Yep, I liked it a lot,
Yeah.
a lot.
Uh,
I wouldn't
You're
say it's a great movie by any stretch of the imagination, but for what it is, can't ask for more really. For
nope.
what I thought it was
It's a
fine.
really good
Thought it was
superhero
solid.
movie, actually.
Yep.
you're gonna trigger my Valiant comic love.
I do love Valiant. You and I are the only ones over here, it seems, though, dude. It's just you
Oh,
and
it's
me.
an older series. It's not as
Well,
recently popular.
well, sure, but I remember reading Valiant back when I was quite young, actually, and
That's
then
what
it
I'm
just it just kind of
saying.
went away, right? But then the reboot, what, about 15 years ago, was it? 12 years ago, something like that. It was a while ago. I was so excited for the reboot. I read every damn thing that came out in it, dude. And and
Yeah.
and they did go through a period where they kind of were getting on board this woke nonsense, and they were doing stupid shit. But finally, they realized, oh well, people aren't buying our book, and they went back and they started just doing what they do, right? Because the thing with Valiant is they're not afraid of having strong character of any race or gender. They've always had it, right?
Well,
um
yeah. When you say woke, I mean that's weird because like Valiant's always been, you know, multicultural. It's
yep,
always been
yep.
they've had like a lot, gay characters and stuff like that. So I don't even know from like when you say like they went woke.
No,
I don't even.
they went too far, dude. They went too
I have
far.
no idea what that
Uh,
even means. So
well,
I haven't heard
the
stuff. So I don't know.
it
Like,
was all about they even went so bad that the white man bad trope was showing up, right?
oh god, yeah.
And you're right. That's kind of the point I'm making. Valiant has always been kind of like that, and who gives a shit because it was fun, right? I mean, like if you go look at Woody and Armstrong, right? That's a great fun buddy thing, and I forget what's the other one? The god there that's he's gay, right? And but he's still badass. But yeah, Valiant's always been that way. But
Yeah.
even they went too far, dude. But they saw it and they backed up, right? And I think one of the characters they screwed up maybe permanently though was Faith, and it's a shame because she's an interesting little character. But they screwed her up bad, dude. And I think the Valiant fans have just kind of abandoned Faith.
I was cleaning up my office and I found my number one Magnus the robot fighter, my number one Exo
Yeah,
Man, my
yeah,
number one. Ranger.
yeah.
So those are my three, like almost my three most expensive comics because I think each one of those is about somewhere between $200 to $400.
Oh wow, yeah, yeah. But I do love me some Valiant, and Adrian seems to be on our side. But they are fun things. But there's another character with Valiant. Man of War, of course, is great. It's interesting too.
Yeah.
But there's another character in there that they do that trope better than I've ever seen done. And of course, that's Shadow Man, right?
Oh,
Sh-
Shadow Man's great.
Shadow Man is awesome, and to understand what Shadow Man is, take was DC, right? Brother Blood,
Hmm.
the typical Baron Samdi voodoo black man, okay, or lady. That's what the character is. When and Marvel's got him, everybody has this voodoo guy. It's just kind of a trope in comic books, right? But no one has done it, in my opinion, right, other than Valiant, because Shadow Man is awesome, and he is that. He's a voodoo guy, Baron
Yeah.
Samedi and everything. But Shadow Man's awesome, right? So if you like that kind of stuff, go read it. But yeah, no, Valiant got Rapture stuff just coming out. You got the Unity Wars. Oh yeah, freaking Valiant, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Brilliant. Brilliant.
But it's weird, Ben. Why do you think so few comic guys read it though?
Well, there was a lot of problems with the publishing back in the day, and so I'm trying to remember the story, but like the comics actually used to be worth a lot more, but then there was like corruption within the company, and I think they did. I think there was some dude in charge who was trying to like inflate the comics, and then he did like a
Yeah,
reprint of their classic run without a versioning differential, and he like ended up diluting a lot of the comics, but um there was just a lot of controversy within like the actual corporation that
yeah,
caused it a lot of problems,
yeah. Way
right?
back, and then of course he's talking about before the reboot. Yeah,
Yeah, but like it took forever for them to recover, right? It was like that stink was on them for so long,
it's true.
right? And but the problem, but like they had a lot of like potential. Like, do you remember there was a Iron Man and Exo Manowar video game?
Yeah,
Yes,
yeah,
I
yeah.
still have that on Sega Saturn.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah,
Yeah,
like just like all of this wasted potential, right?
hmm
And they if they would have just like run their business better, they could have been a major contender right now. And it's just because they really kind of fucked up their business model, and it was
they
really
did.
down to like one dude.
They did. But yeah, and Man of War is really cool too because when you get Iron Man, you get a lot of comic book people will make the Tony Stark type Iron Man clone, right? Whereas Man of War he's in essence an Iron Man, but his story and what he is and how he thinks and how he approaches things are not even close to Tony Stark. So I mean,
Right.
and I appreciate that, right? It's not just because a lot of times comic books will copy each other. Marvel and DC have been doing it for decades, right? But Man of War is great. Not even with the video game you're talking about, and that was a while ago. Where they also came out with a tabletop role playing game for Valiant, and it's pretty interesting, dude. It's different. It's not just this D20 OGL clone, right? It was pretty interesting. Sentinels of the Multiverse also came out with a tabletop role playing system that was unique and interesting as well. Which I probably no one knows what that is. Anybody know what Sentinels of the Multiverse is?
Sounds vaguely familiar.
Yeah, it's a board game originally. It's one of the better superhero board games from a long time ago. But
Yeah.
anyway, I do need to get on with my day. I got work to do. But that was fun. Happy 4th of July, everybody. Hopefully you had at least a taste of barbecue.
Happy America Day.
Yeah. Happy America Day. But anyway, let me go around the board here and let you guys give your closing comments. I'll just go from the top. Ben.
Everyone have a great week and get back to work. I'm sad to go back to work myself. I got half my book finished, so looking forward to finishing the rest of it. So
Sweet. Awesome. Grimlock.
Kind of in the same vein. Hope everybody enjoyed their holiday. Hope everybody's kept safe and sound. And if you got any good comics to read, go read a comic before you got to go back to work.
Yeah. Thundero, take us out of here, man.
I'm going to take us out of here real quick, real simple, real light and pretty. I've done this one many times, but I think it's beautiful. The master is not the one who completes his training. The master is the one who never stops.
That is true. Namaste. Later, everybody.